When I first started pursuing fantasy writing, the first person I watched on YouTube for some critical analysis was Overly Sarcastic Productions, but Shadiversity was a close second. Shadiversity at the time was seen as a medieval sword enthusiast. He seemed to know everything about swords, and for the uninformed, that was pretty impressive. He would talk about style, technique, tactics, how the swords were made, all sorts of different things, and as a result, we got a strong sense of, oh hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. But as time went on and other sword enthusiasts engaged with his media, it became clear that maybe he wasn't the expert he presented himself as online. The problem is that Shad Brooks saw himself as an authority on swords, but then started talking about other things and still treated himself as though he had the same authority and clout when talking about, say, film, politics, AI art, that he did as a swords guy. And look, here's the thing. I don't know much about swords. I know a bit, not a whole lot. So I'm not going to challenge him to a debate on swords. I might not know a lot about swords, but I do know superheroes. I know comics. I have for the better part of a decade worked in some form or another adjacent to the comic book industry, either as a writer or as a YouTube video guy. I made a few video essays about comic books that I think are pretty decent. So I know the topic. And Shad, you clearly don't know jack about them. Shadiversity on his channel Night's Watch has become the internet's court jester, reacting to various trailers as they come out and various stories as they emerge, and you get angry about them for clout, basically. Now, you also attack every single person who has ever criticized you even a little bit. Jack Saint famously called out Shad for his takes on the Mario movie trailer. And Shad responded to this. He took the criticism on the chin. He went, okay, I'm glad for your feedback. I'll do better next time. Now, I'm just kidding. He made a 2-hour and 8-minute response to Jack Saint's criticism, which led Jack Saint to point out all the individual flaws with Shad's response while dressed as a court jester. When I responded to Shadiversity's reaction to, I'm sorry, not Shadiversity, Shad of the Night Watch, first of his name, scribe of conquerors and all that, I reacted to Shad's reaction to the James Gunn Superman trailer. It's ridiculous. He is just making crap up. How does anyone take this seriously? And Shad responded with a 2-hour and 9-minute reaction. Take that, Jack Saint. I got an extra minute over you. And he didn't seem like what I had to say.
Did I say that, you friggin' disingenuous moron? Did I say that? Listen to what I said.
Friggin' idiot. Now, in what is arguably the dumbest stream I've ever done, I reacted to Shad's reaction, to my reaction, to his reaction to the James Gunn trailer, resulting in this monstrosity of an image you see before you, where it looks like Inception has vomited all over your computer screen.
There's many aspects to the Superman story and arc that I, as a fan, would want to see. And I'm a little annoyed that it's potentially just skipping over it. And look...
Are you upset that Lois Lane will figure out who Clark Kent is?
Did I say that, you friggin' disingenuous moron? Did I say that? Listen to what I said, right?
You did!
You just did!
Said, and just make a complete straw man trying to say something completely... Listen to again. Potentially just skipping over it. And so I'm sad that they're potentially going to skip over the part of the relationship where Lois doesn't know who Clark Kent is.
Are you upset that Lois Lane will figure out who Clark Kent is?
And then he's like, that means Shad clearly said he's going to be upset that Lois Lane figures it out. You freaking idiot.
Now, I love how he says that I said something when I asked a question. That's the funniest part.
He goes on, he's like, oh, look, they're about to kiss and they're holding hands. They must just skip over the whole thing. It's like, well, maybe they catch things up to speed in this one movie. It's a 2-hour fucking movie.
Exactly.
Could be even 3 hours, considering movies these days. That's enough time to establish a relationship between two characters.
Which is funny. So at 59 minutes, I have my original stream up right here. Let's hear a little before that, too, because I think there's some context here.
Oh, yeah, you're going to fact-check him live, aren't you?
Oh, that's what I'm going to do. You know it. A lot of people tuned in. A lot of people watched. But I personally do not feel comfortable with a 7-hour video on the internet. I don't think you should watch it. I think you should not be obligated to watch 7 hours to get the vibes of what's happening with this situation. Again, it was 7 hours, but it wasn't all talking about Shad. A lot of it was me and my guest, Cy Scribbles, just talking about whatever. anything but Shad sometimes. And so, as the ultimate destruction of the Hugos, they decided to nominate Chuck Tingle, who at the time was a very unknown author. So I decided to condense the stream, to condense my reaction to Shad's reaction, to my reaction, to his reaction to James Gunn, so you get the full picture of how Shad does not know how to take criticism. My goal with this is to condense and boil down this stream down to about under an hour. Take a look at the runtime, see if I'm successful. Yeah, that's what I thought. Shad very clearly said in no small words what he thought about me early on in his reaction.
And a creator by the name of Anthony Gramuglia has made a video criticizing my commentary on the Superman trailer. And so I think this is an interesting opportunity to hear what those criticisms are, see if they're valid, and even perhaps defend myself, because I think the framing already from the title is actually quite dishonest. Now, I don't know much who Anthony is.
Now, let me see what the title was. So my title was Shadiversity versus James Gunn. Superman, Shad wants to marry Sil. Which I think is fair because his argument, ultimately was, his big argument was that he was complaining about how Superman starts off defeated. He kind of wants Superman to be triumphant the whole time. And of course, he
acts like that's the entire movie. But you know what he's doing? He's doing like, first image of this new Superman is him all beaten up. They want to be discriminatory against strong men. That's really what his issue is here.
Exactly. And again, I do point out in the video, which we'll see if he gets to, how there's some evidence that he does leave out.
Is the first time I ever heard of him was an EFAP was reacting to one of his videos, which I'll leave a link in the description title below. And the only other people...
EFAP get him out. Look, see how bad he is.
EFAP. I will say this too, it's funny. EFAP has a big audience, right? And yet, the video they react to is dwarfed by the views of the very little guy. I don't get it.
Well, you got like mildly harassed by internet idiots for like a week and then it was over.
Yeah. And I've said this before because I know Celtic Phoenix and his group, they also reacted to the same video. And I actually went on stream with them to talk about the issues that they have with it, whatever. I don't trust anyone who's has rags on their show. I have an issue with rags in particular. Anyone who streams with the furry raiders is not someone I want to associate with. But again, the EFAP video had some decent feedback. I think it was mixed in with a lot of other stuff vitriol that I thought was not worth it.
That's what they do. That's what people come to them for. I mean, I've watched a few EFAPs. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're sometimes I see somebody on it that I go, no, I'm not watching this.
And the thing ultimately is, you take criticism, you take it. It's with anything, the good criticism I took and I incorporated.
Even criticism delivered in an asshole-ish way isn't necessarily wrong. Exactly. If they're right,
Yeah, and again, the video had flaws. I made the video in 3 or 4 days. It was a very quick production. There were things I thought it
was a pretty solid video, but I guess some of the people you talked about were some of their friends, and
yeah, it all connected. And I think my big issue was the video was too short because I was opening up doors to ideas that they needed a whole video to discuss ideas that you were touching upon. It was more of a primer than a full-blown, complete. But again, this is stuff that's more complicated. And
you're coming up with a weekly video, basically. Not all of them are going to be amazing.
Certainly not. And I think my later videos have been better. But again, it's one of those things where it's there's some criticism that worked, and I didn't argue it. I just listened to it and incorporated it into the videos I made afterwards. So it all works out.
And like I said, people are acting like it's a huge deal at EFAP covered you when I said, people you had some trolls for a week that were probably high schoolers, and then nobody cared.
Yeah, honestly, I've gotten trolled way worse by other people. They weren't even that extreme, which is something interesting.
And the only other piece of content I've come across from him is his video, Run My Half Will Make You Bi and Trans, which is a video that really confirms my own video where I was saying that there are certain political activists trying to hijack Run My Half and force a false interpretation on it, saying it's about trans representation or supports trans ideology, which if you actually watch Run My Half, it doesn't do that at all.
Well, I didn't say that. Obviously, I am cis. But you know who else is cis? Rumiko Takahashi. The creator of Ranma is undeniably fantastic at what she does, creating these sprawling casts of lovable characters, but I don't think she really understood or cared to understand the complexities of gender identity before working on Ranma. Yet despite that, for many people, her work connected with them at a time they needed it most. I said that you could.
I bet he's assuming your entire video from like the clickbaity title, isn't he?
That's fair. Well, but isn't that what he's doing about my video? He's getting angry about.
I'm saying he just saw the title of your Ranma video and decided that's what it's actually like all completely about when it.
Oh yeah,
and it isn't.
And half the video is about saying why. I mean, the clickbait clearly didn't work if he didn't click on it, but
the opposite. So you can check out my video where I talk about that. But from the outset, it does seem like Anthony and I have very different political and ideological opinions.
That's also
I
true.
don't think those are reasons to not get along with anyone. And I've watched some of the beginning of his video where he's talking about my, Superman trailer. And a good chunk of what I've seen in the beginning, I don't know how it goes, further into it, is actually just kind of nerdy discussions from his own perspective. And that's fine. I really miss the times when, geeky people could just talk about things and disagree, argue about it, and still get along. And that's one of the things I love about FNT, because I go in there and often we can argue a lot. And guess what? We argued a decent amount about this Superman trailer. I was not a fan. If you love the Superman trailer...
I do want to stop right there for a second, because I think that is an important point. I think, and we're kind of touching upon what we were just saying just now. I do feel like a lot of the internet has caused people to get more aggressive over this, because it's ultimately just goofy ass shit. Ultimately, like most of this is goofy.
The problem is seeing a headline and assuming you know what the whole article or video says, which is what he does with that fucking article later.
And that's the thing too that bugs me. Like, he says this, and then his actions paint a different portrait.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking mean it.
No, he doesn't mean any of this. Like, he's just talking out of his ass. And again, like, if he did mean it, I do want to point this out to anyone who's doubting it. If he did really mean this, he could have reached out and just said, hey, I saw your video. I don't know if I agree with it. Would you like to talk about it? And that would have been a very different discussion. I would have accepted that had he asked that from the beginning. Hey, I disagree with what you said. I think maybe you missed the point. I think you're a big-nosed idiot, but let's talk and like on a stream or something. Different situation, would have been fine. I would absolutely
debate Shad though. Get your guy with the gesture capelet to be the moderator, even.
Jack Saint. Now Jack Saint would be hilarious. That'd be great. If Jack Saint moderated.
I don't think Jack Saint is an unbiased party.
He's definitely not unbiased. No, he would challenge. He challenged both of you to a sword fight.
Oh, notice me, Jack Saint Kohai.
And yeah, I felt it was deconstructionist trash, and it's me going ballistic, and that ballistic thing is obviously comedic hyperbole, okay? It's exaggeration.
Is
it? Well, here's the thing. To do that, you'd have to be funny.
Yeah.
To be that.
There is going to be a point where he sounds like legitimately fucking angry. Like, he's like freaking the fuck out. Maybe you were trying to be funny, it didn't work, man.
Well, he said that for the Jack Saint video. But he said that about the Jack Saint video, too, where Jack Saint responded to his Mario video, where he's giving his authentic perspective, and Jack Saint's like, yeah, this is kind of weird. I don't know, I don't like this. And, like, Shad's like, but I was being over the top for humor's sake. I'm like, it doesn't look that way, man.
To me, that's kind of the takeaway, where Peach is an insufferable Mary Sue girl boss, Bowser is a simp, and Mario is a punching bag. The movie. Right. Peach is an insufferable Mary Sue girl. Okay, so this comment, right, was a more comedic, tongue-in-cheek assessment of the film that we give in our review. That's an extreme kind of, if you would look at it, there's very negative light, you could see it like this, but if you kind of notice that, I'm kind of smiling, winking as I say it, and Tyrant is like, oh, I can't really see it. We're being fun with it. Vague nonsense, people that have a massive, issue with me because of politics, ideology and stuff like that. The fact that I am a very conservative Christian, outspokenly so. And so people are trying to say that I have no credibility. It's like, well, then prove it. A lot of the criticism, okay, where suddenly now I'm an inaccurate source, right, happened, a bit after I started Night's Watch, where, okay, well, why would that correlate so directly? Because people then started to really attack me and hate me because I'm outspoken, conservative. And then suddenly everything that I do is of no worth and complete nonsense and not credible.
Shad, at no point in this video, aside from the times I directly mentioned your politics, did your politics influence anything I said in this video. I want to make that clear to you. I've compiled everything that needs to be compiled into a playlist that you can see. So you can see everything. I got nothing to hide. I am leaving out no context I won't give you personally. I'm just giving you a shorter version of it. Because quite frankly, Shad's reaction cut a lot out. Shad is a liar. While accusing me of a liar, he left out so much detail that it becomes clear that any time he receives any criticism, he has to twist the words of his opposition. He has to cut everyone off every 3 seconds because he has to talk over his opposition as opposed to listen and learn potentially. I'm not just here to respond to Shad right now. I'm here to bury his entire point under concrete. You accuse me of lying, Shad. Well, let sunlight be the best disinfectant. Now, I know Jack Saint dressed as a court jester in his video to challenge Shad to a sword fight, to a duel, but I don't have a court jester outfit, so I don't really intend on fighting, because this isn't really a fight, it's a dissection. So I have come dressed for the occasion. Let's do this. Now, early on, Shad got a little upset that I said I didn't like his book. He then became something of an author, something of a creative, and the more he released, the more people kind of began to take him less and less seriously because he was kind of became something of a reactionary. His book, The Shadow of the Conqueror, I was particularly disappointed by. When I first had, I actually bought the book. His book is not that good. Maybe one day I'll talk about his book, Shadow of the Conqueror, if I talk about, like, YouTuber creative work. This got Shad so mad, he went on a 30-minute tirade talking about what I was wrong about. His book, The Shadow of the Conqueror, I was particularly disappointed by.
Oh, he's even read my book. Okay. So I would say it's pretty accurate to say this gentleman's a former fan then.
When I first had, I actually...
And by the way, my book's not going to be any for everyone. If people are going to be disappointed, didn't enjoy it, perfectly valid. Very grateful for the thousands of people that have read my book and genuinely love it. I think I've nearly sold 50,000 copies of Shadow of the Conqueror. That's including all platforms. And oh my gosh, because Audible is up to 6,000 individual ratings. Last time I checked it, I think I've nearly sold 50,000 copies of Shadow of the Conqueror.
Who fucking cares? Who gives a shit? And it got great reviews, and it sold 40,000 copies, and even Daniel Green gave it a good review.
One of the most objective and fair reviews you can find about is actually Daniel Green's review of Shadow of the Conqueror, and has even made a follow-up video after the fact saying that, on retrospect, he likes it even more.
Shadow of the Conqueror by Shad Brooks. This is a book I directly said in my review, I need to see the sequels to figure out how I'm going to feel on this, because it sets up a lot. It makes grand promises, and Shad Brooks does not back down in any way, shape, or form, I feel like, setting up exactly the storyline he wants to. But I've actually thought about this book more than I thought I would. It's stuck with me in greater ways than I would have ever predicted. And so I want to just give a tip of the hat in that sense. It's got some rougher edges. It's clearly an early novel from an author, but it's an admirable early novel from an author. Well above what can be expected that I even have for myself. Well above what I expect I will put out for my first book. But it's one I would happily recommend to a firm set of readers, especially those who look for a specific kind of fantasy. Heavily conflicted, morally gray character. I mean, this is an actual morally gray character. There's an engaging world. It's not your typical medieval fantasy. Nice magical elements in play. All of it coming together quite nice.
Daniel is a very well-respected YouTube book reviewer, and a lot of the reviews of the books where people were not being swayed one or the other by ideology and stuff are very fair.
Fellow YouTuber and author Daniel Green. And, you know, he included a clip of Daniel Green praising the book, which is really funny. It'd be funny if Daniel ever changed his opinion, right?
Then we have Shadow of the Conqueror. Oh, Jesus. Of the Conqueror. My own personal extreme disliking of the author's right-wing turn in recent years. Shadow of the Conqueror, I remember I couldn't make up my mind on it, even back then. We never got a sequel, as far as I know of. I said I needed to read more to see where things were building to understand where things were going before I could really give an opinion. And I honestly don't remember the book that well. I'm just gonna go. I read that because I don't remember it well enough to really give thoughts, and I don't think I was a very good reviewer back then anyway.
Well, but hey, opinions shift. Someone's opinions may change.
This is a book I
This is like
directly
12
said in my
minutes
review.
in.
I need to see the
You
sequel.
haven't gotten to the trailer.
This is 16 minutes in.
Oh, 16. I couldn't read it very well. Jesus Christ.
He's so upset that people criticized, that some people didn't like his book, that he's citing, like, Daniel Green.
This is Shad. This is supposed to be you responding to Anthony talking about the Superman trailer. Why haven't we gotten there in 12 fucking minutes? You edited this.
This is embarrassing. No one...
This always happens. I always end up giving my YouTube rivals, like, advice on how to get better at YouTube, because it just annoys me so much.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is really...
Like,
this is
bro,
sad.
I've only been doing this for a year, and I understand this.
Like, this is actually upsetting. Like, dude, you have a video where you're going to respond to my channel, to my video, to my takes, and where I call you a liar. Just because I didn't like your book does not mean you have to be so pedantic about it.
Yeah, you won't see ideology coming into it too much, but you will notice interesting correlation that a lot of the negative reviews that are really going hard in the paint after it coincide quite interestingly when more of the hate and criticisms come against me from the stuff that I make here on Night's Watch. Why do you think that's the case? Now,
because your takes are dog shit.
Should we skip ahead to the trailer now?
Oh God, go to Twitter?
That are just full on bullcrap. And there's a
are
lot
these
of them,
even your
but I haven't
tweets?
done it
No, I have
occasionally.
no involvement with this. This
So
has
he's bringing
nothing to
up
do
a
with me.
completely unrelated drama because his ego is so bruised.
He's so frail about. Oh my God, oh my
He's
God.
such a delicate little flower.
What, dude? Why? What does any of this have to do with
Okay,
anything?
let's skip. This is not disingenuous to skip you bringing up a completely different beef that has nothing to do with Anthony.
Yeah. Okay.
Anthony's political leanings and the way that he is already being called out for disingenuously and just flat out dishonestly framing certain things. You can check out.
Oh my God! It's been 18 seconds, my guy. It's been 18 seconds of my video, and you've already gone.
He's already poisoning the well. He's just pouring an entire bag of arsenic down the well.
And keep in mind, all I've said so far.
Because you managed to say he's a little mediocre.
Yeah, I said to the uninformed, his videos sound smart, but I've heard that they're not accurate. That's all I've said. Essentially,
and he's been going on for almost 20 minutes because his poor little bum was so hurt by that.
This is kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie.
This is why I find him really funny, though. He's
very funny.
In ways, he's a little less inoffensive than Lily because he's just kind of bumbling.
I almost feel bad. I really almost feel bad right now. But he's doing it to himself, so I can't feel that bad. You know what it is? It's like when someone reaches into a pickle jar, grabs the pickle, and can't pull their hand out. All they gotta do is let go of the pickle, and their hand would slide right out. But they have to not just squeeze it, but they're now bashing the jar against the wall, so they get glass cuts.
That's quite a metaphor and quite a mental image of Shad doing.
That's what he's doing. This is so avoidable.
And then he's like, I got glass in my hand because of you.
No, it's funny because none of this has anything to do with anything we're talking about. But he's doing it to frame me as negative.
On another day, I'd go over this other part of the video, but goddamn.
Yeah, and he's only doing this to make me seem like not a reliable source.
We're already an hour and a half into our own goddamn stream.
Seriously. Anyway.
At that EFAP reaction, I don't have much hope that he's going to be objective and honest about my book when he reviews it.
Okay, I'm taking this thing off. This is getting ridiculous. I know it was for a dumb gag, but this is really stupid. Eventually, after a ton of belly aching and complaining, we got to the Superman trailer.
Teasers and trailers, they can lie completely, okay? We've seen really good trailers that were attached to what ended up being really bad films. And
okay, that's true.
Thank you for acknowledging it. So, from the outset, at least Anthony has been willing to give me, at least a prop. We'll see how it continues, but I've seen some people who have come after me and they will not be willing to acknowledge anything truthful thing that I say at all, and they are just so hard in the paint that they will try and twist and rip apart anything. It doesn't seem Anthony is that far gone, thank goodness. So I appreciate that, he's willing to agree with me. And that's the thing, because it's times like that sometimes gives me hope.
Oh my god, dude!
Again,
this wasn't a live stream. Why did you not cut all this? Why didn't you just watch the video first and then make your little commentary on it to cut? Why are you rambling on so much?
Like here's the thing.
When I do cuts of my streams, I cut out my stupid tangents.
And again, like in the stream that this is based on proper, my original reaction was I gave more compliments. I cut most of them out just because they weren't relevant to the focus of the video. Like,
you were too nice.
Yeah, I mean, I kept some in because I didn't want to be too much of a jerk. But again, it's like it's
he can't take any hint that someone thinks what he's done isn't the best.
Yeah, but it's like
he can't handle it.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to me. I didn't agree with it. Okay. I think that point was good. Okay. I don't want to it just seems really
He's like, okay, here he agreed with me. We'll see how the rest of the video goes. He's probably going to be a disingenuous bastard.
Yeah, it's like, even you can't even take a compliment nicely. It has to be tinged with prepping up for the next strike. I'm like, okay.
No, he agreed with me, but he must be some commie liberal making a plan against me.
And I feel like he probably kept it in to show a balanced perspective, to give the perception of, okay, I'm going to acknowledge when he acknowledges me being positive. I think that's what he tried doing, but the problem is it's undercut by the fact he immediately follows it saying that we'll see how the video goes. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, but this is what he does in all the responses where his ego's been bruised. He just goes on and on about how what I do is really brilliant. Everyone's just attacking me because they don't like my politics and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it's okay, that's cool. Hey, listen, you're allowed to like it. You're allowed not to like it. That's fine. But whatever. Now, one thing Shad seemed to struggle with is what Superman is as a character.
Most of the focus of the trailer was on the merits of how they depicted Superman. They're going to depict him in the way in which Superman, from my opinion, is done best. Okay, the paragon of justice, the indomitable hero, the one that tries his very best to save others.
Okay, come on.
Was my perspective. But, an old school Superman fan. Okay, as a kid, my favorite superheroes, I watched Superboy, Lois and Clark, and stuff like that. Though
you would watch Lois and Clark. You would like Dean Cain, wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't I?
Exactly.
Dean Cain is the worst Superman?
He is the worst Superman.
This is a more conservative-leaning side as well. Actually never really got to read heaps of the comics. It was always the cartoons and the live-action TV shows, especially the movies. Why is that a problem? I'm interested in that. It's we'll see. We'll see what I was just.
It's a problem because you're selling yourself as a Superman fanboy.
Exactly, and I'm not going to do bullshit.
I would never call myself a Batman mega fan. I like Batman. I like the concept of Batman. I like a lot of the live action movies and the cartoons. I have never read the comics,
and that's fine.
I would not call myself an expert on Batman, and he's a top character in fiction for me.
Exactly, and again, the thing is, I don't like gatekeeping. Anyone is welcome to the fandom, no matter what your experience is, because everyone started somewhere. And if you know one from, and with these characters, they're multimedia. So if you're a fan of the cartoons versus the movies versus the comics versus the video games, whatever it is, you're still a fan at the end of the day.
I never gave a goddamn shit about Spider-Man before the Spider-Verse movies, and I love those movies.
Exactly. And what it comes down to is the only thing I have a quite problem with is your discussion of the history of the character. That's the one point where I will draw the line a little bit. If you know the character through one or two mediums, and you know those mediums very well, that's fine, but that's not you can't speak as an authority about the history of the character then. You can speak as a fan of this particular version of the character.
He's very clearly ranting about what he personally wants to see out of Superman, and it's kind of antithetical to the character.
Mm-hmm. And so it seems like if I was to predict where this is going, he is going to use the fact that I haven't read much of the comics to try and undermine and say that my opinion is invalid and therefore not worth listening to. I don't know if he does go there, but that's what my expectation is, because usually when people approach arguments disingenuously, instead of looking at the arguments on the merits, a lot of the left-leaning, ideological, more progressive.
What's so funny is what I say next, but I'll let him dig.
He's not just poisoning the well. He's pulled down his pants and is shitting in the well now.
Especially what comes next, which is so funny. Let's see if he
Oh,
plays
I don't
it
know
all
what
out.
he's gonna say, but I assume it's going to be incredibly disingenuous.
Oh, I hope he plays the full thing, because if he doesn't, I'm playing that clip, because it's, what's this, 8 minutes in? Okay, we got this.
To try and discredit the argument instead of address the argument.
Oh, like
discredit
what you've been
usually by
doing
undermining
this
someone's
whole time.
credibility, saying why their opinion is not worth listening to, and oftentimes I'll go that route. And one of the things that I could perceive, could be wrong, we'll see, is that Shad hasn't even read the comics. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, that's a deflection tactic instead of addressing the actual argument. We'll say I'm a bit unfamiliar with. But in terms
Arguing
of
an
the
argument
tone,
he made up it.
actually never really got to read heaps of the comics. It was always the cartoons and the live action TV shows, especially the movies, that I was just completely hooked on as a kid. And so there's actually some deeper kind of cut references in this trailer that I think are related to some of the Superman stuff in the comic books that I'm a bit unfamiliar with. But in terms of the tone and what we...
Okay, so one big thing with the comics is the movie, this new movie looks like it's heavily inspired by the story What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. It's one of the greatest individual comics of Superman history.
Now, if the film is going to be based off of a single comic... Now, I haven't read the comic, okay? But I'm going off his presentation. I don't trust him as a reliable source on any of this. I've heard what he has tried to say about Runmahalf, and I think he is...
Okay, so right there, he's doing the same thing he spent all this time building up for me, back at me again. It's so funny. He said he's trying to build me as an unreliable source.
He didn't say the movie is based entirely on that one comimic, just that it's
based heavily.
Taking a lot of elements from it.
Yeah, there's elements that seem to be taken from it. That's all I said.
Well, it's like how WandaVision was both House of M and the Visions, but also something all its own too.
But it's funny because he's doing the exact same thing to me, what he said I did to him. The whole time before, he said, oh, well, he's just discrediting me because of my political beliefs. And then I say...
He's been assuming your arguments because of your political beliefs.
Exactly. Every single thing he said, it's like, he said, oh, because he's a leftist, he's got to say this. And then what's so funny is I said, hey... You know, I didn't say anything yet. I said, oh. He's like, well, most of the time what they do is they try to act like you're not an authority on something and you try to undermine the argument, discredit them rather than address the argument's merits as they are. Not a single breath later goes, well, I don't think he's an authority in this because I watched his Rama video. The one that you agreed with started this video and said that they both were saying the same thing, which they weren't because you didn't know what actually was said in it. Because you're making a different conclusion about the video.
Did he even watch Ranma back in the day?
I don't think he did. I
had it on VHS tape, Shad.
I just...
Okay. The 80s one.
Yeah, no. Let's use
these things dramatically through an ideological lens, misrepresenting source material, Runmahalf in particular, to fit that narrative. Right? And so if he's going to...
But Shad, we have to talk about the arguments as formed, right? Like, I thought that's what you just said.
Yeah, now he's just bitching about your Ranma videos. Nothing to do with anything, bro.
Yeah. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? A comic you admit you have not read. That's all that matters right now. I have not read the comic, but I think this. That is your sole argument right now. Everything but that is irrelevant.
I haven't read any Superman comics. I don't even like Superman really that much as far as DC superhero goes. There's a lot I would choose first. But even I have a better understanding of what Superman is at the core of his character than fucking Shad does.
So to give you an idea, Sai, I'll give you a very brief perspective on this comics, just so you understand what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into specifics, but
yeah, I've heard of it. But again, yeah, I know my comics history vaguely enough.
Yeah, and I'll leave out specific names because the names like Manchester Black isn't in this movie, but that's not as important. The gist is, new superhero team comes to town. They're handling crime in a more violent, more intense way than Superman is. They're punishing crime more violently, more permanently. And Superman feels like their methods are too violent, they're too extreme. But these new heroes become popular because their approach is more, quote-unquote, seemingly effective at stopping crime. And as the comic comes to a conclusion, Superman decides to break loose on them and seems to employ the same intensely brutal methods that they use against them. But it's all just like a ploy to show them how easy it would be for Superman to do what they do.
Oh, so he scares them straight, basically.
Basically, yeah. But it ends with this great speech where he kind of talks about like why he has to do the things he does and why he believes so firmly in his beliefs. It was adapted into the movie Superman versus the Elite, which is like a little animated film. If you've seen that, it's a great story, and I'm not doing it justice. You really got to read the comic. I'm just briefly summarizing it off the top of my head.
As is done with Run Half in the past, because if this comic, right, is more true to the tone that the trailer is depicting, all right, that doesn't undermine my judgment and perception that the trailer, especially the opening in particular, I should say, right, misses the mark of what Superman is usually depicted in the more common...
You didn't argue that it did?
Yeah, like the thing is, I haven't seen your reaction
you
yet,
didn't
so
even
I have
make that argument.
So I have no idea how it is going to connect to your trailer.
You just happened to mention that it is based on that comic, and now he's saying, he's saying my opinions on the trailer are invalid because I don't know this comic. It's like, that's not what you said, though.
Yeah, I didn't give any opinion on the trailer because I haven't watched the trailer. I haven't watched your perspective on the trailer yet in this video.
Hasn't gotten to the trailer part.
Like, the thing is, he's acting all preemptively, like, this will cut off my argument.
I did skip his opening preamble, and I did it. So
I watched the whole thing. He said some stuff here that I thought was telling. You know, again, you don't read the comics, you don't read the comics, that's fine, but, like, there's going to be things you miss, like specific elements of the comics. If you don't know the comics and you watch the trailer, it may not connect there. But I find it just funny how he spent all this time saying how bad I was for painting him as not an authority, but then he's like, do the same thing to me before I could even get my point out.
Okay, if you look at the TV shows, the movies, the idea that Superman is this indomitable paragon of justice is one of the core themes of it. And so just saying that, perhaps you can go away from that, and that's perfectly fine because there's this more specific, comic. Which
Wait. How is he saying this? How is he saying a comic called, like, What's So Bad About Truth, Justice, and the American Way is moving away from justice?
Yeah, that's the entire point of the comic. It's the whole point of the comic is to deconstruct Superman to build him back up again.
Does he even know that Superman's motto is truth, justice, and the American way? He doesn't seem to.
He has to. No, there's no way he doesn't know that.
He never mentions it.
Yeah, but there's no way he doesn't know that. Like, that seems to me like... I don't want to say that. He has to know that. There's no way. It's one of those famous slogans in, like, comic history. You'll notice Shad keeps saying that the core of the Superman character is his indomitable spirit, It seems to Shad that Superman is the power he embodies, and not, say, who he is as a person. I disagree. Fundamentally, I disagree. If you're not a big Superman fan, that's okay. You don't have to be. And I want to establish this right now, because I don't like gatekeeping. I don't like any of that. You can have an opinion and a reaction of Superman, as a movie, even if you're not super familiar with the comics. Saying a story is like the comics is not always a good defense against criticism.
Completely agree.
That being said,
Meaning what I just said, is going to contradict that now, or say this is
just listen to
what it said.
Shad for doing the exact thing that I just said is perfectly fine.
I have a feeling that his interpretation of who Superman is as a character is going to be completely different from the version established in the comics.
What version, and
yes.
I don't trust him as a reliable source either. I will have.
I love it. 1 second he's like he's saying
a little waver in his voice there.
He's a little nervous. I can hear a little nervousness there, a little uncertainty. He has to cut. Here's the thing: he has to cut me off every sentence because if he doesn't, what are you gonna do?
I gotta cut you off every sentence and assume what your argument's gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
My own understanding of who Superman is as a character from the media of Superman that I've consumed over his, presentation and his interpretation of what the comics supposedly are.
And I can already have a few ideas what he's gonna do. I don't want to say anything yet. I want to let him say his piece. I find it interesting. Both he and I are kind of preempting what the other is saying based on.
You're doing it so much more though, dude.
Yeah. At this point, it's 9 minutes in. At this point, it's 28 minutes in. It's a little different.
I will absolutely defer to my understanding of Superman from the media of Superman I have consumed.
That is sold and is beloved by so many readers for decades. And I have a feeling that...
See, now I was speaking already from a arbitrary state of authority is trying to blah. Superman is definitely depicted a certain way and media influence as to how they, it's prove it.
He can't stop himself. He has to keep going.
That's you.
We have to do that
Finally,
Zulily thing.
We are at the trailer after 2.5 hours.
We got it. We got it, guys. We're there.
We're here, guys. We're here.
Just have a look at how this begins.
Okay,
This is the stupidest thing I've done in
years.
years.
I think this opening is fantastic.
Perfectly fine for him to think that, okay? I'm not trying to say he's wrong and everything. This is subjective stuff. I wonder how he'll say, because I did not like the opening, all right? But this is the general nerdy discussion that I think is fine. There's no issue here. Right out of the gate, I'm like, nah, okay? I'm not saying Superman can't be challenged in the film. This is going to be important. Perhaps we'll be coming back to this, all right? Because I wonder if people are trying to say, oh, look, I just want Superman to be very soon, because I say I love how he's being, I love Superman can be indomitable and unbeatable and everything. But that's not to say I feel he can't be challenged in the film or even defeated, as I say very clearly right here. I'm not saying Superman can't be challenged in the film. I'm not there are ways in which he could get injured like this, and I'm not saying you can't have moments in the film, but that would be in the film itself, where it's just like, where we don't know what's led up to this, what's caused this to happen. You choose to present him as being battered, broken, and defeated. That's not what Superman fans, that's not what I want to see out of Superman.
One of the best-selling comics of all time is The Death of Superman. Superman movies have for years had this one issue.
Okay, so just because, yes, there's times when Superman has been challenged, even dead, doesn't undermine the point where I think one of the primary enjoyable parts of Superman is him being that indomitable, yes, overpowered paragon. And my criticism with the James Gunn trailer where Superman is battered and defeated, specifically, that's the opening with it. I never said that you can't have him reach that point, okay? And to me,
All
it's
right,
almost
pause
like
for a second.
Yeah, he's just rambling. He hasn't really said much at all. I was waiting for him to get to the point before I stopped him, but...
Well, it's like he's saying, like, the main draw of Superman is that he's indomitable and indestructible. But it isn't. It's that he can use that power responsibly because he is a paragon of justice.
Yeah, like, he cares. He's the Man of Steel. Yes,
Like,
he is...
look, I am a cynical asshole. I like the boys, and even I understand that Superman is a very idealistic paragon of justice.
100%. Like, he's truth, justice, in the American way, or a better tomorrow, depending what era of Superman you're reading. But either way, even when he's like in Red Sun, where he is a agent of Russia, the Soviet Union, comrade, yes, no American way there. But even there, he still has the same core ideals. Like, he wants to do good. He has great empathy and care for people. And his empathy and care is way more important than him being unstoppable.
Yeah, him being raised in humble origins is the most important part of his character.
Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why I say Wonder Woman is different than Superman. And they're both virtually unstoppable. They both have very similar power levels. They're both extremely strong. They're both hard to put down. But whereas one is diplomatic and more the spirit of truth and honesty, Superman's more about justice.
How they jumped the gun of Superman's death in ECEU, where that's something that you want to build up to, okay?
Everyone agrees that was bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, Shad, I never said we're doing Death of Superman right now. All I'm saying is that audiences like seeing Superman challenged. That's all I'm saying. And that's the thing about this. He's changing the point. The only thing I said...
Yeah, because you weren't saying it's based on Death of Superman. You were saying it's based on Truth, Justice, the American Way.
Yeah, exactly, which is... where he is also challenged. But the thing only was, he said specifically that comic fans don't want to see this. And like, well, comic fans paid money to see Superman get bruised up.
You're not a comic fan, Shads. You can't talk for them.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can't talk for them either, but,
Exactly. And like, it just... Anyway.
And death, the reason why that was such a big thing was because it was in contrast to him being so powerful and so indomitable, and therefore his...
No, because it was a death of a major character. That's why. Superman had already been challenged. Alan Moore did it back in the 80s multiple times. Infinity Crisis. I keep thinking Infinity War, that's Marvel.
I remember Death of Superman being a huge deal. Like fucking Time Magazine was talking about it.
Oh, yeah. The reason it's such a big selling comic is because it was on the TV news even. And you had that, and you had Nightfall, which is where Bane breaks Batman's back, really close back to back with each other. I think Nightfall's the better story, personally, because Bane's a more compelling villain, but Doomsday sucks as an enemy, but
The movies have never done Bane right.
no, never. Both times they've screwed it up.
Defeat then means more. When you open and lead with that at the beginning of a new Superman series, for me, that misses the mark.
Superman, yeah, but I'm not saying you opened up with Death of Superman. I'm saying you opened up with Superman being challenged. That's it. Movies have for years had this one issue, this one core issue that a lot of Superman movies have, even the Zack Snyder films to an extent, that Superman is not challenged physically by his opponents.
I'm sorry, Zod challenged him physically. I just think that is objectively false, okay? Both.
I think you're missing the point here. I said even they had that problem. Zod only challenges Superman physically towards the end, but you never see any wear and tear on Zod. On Superman. Like, the end of the fight with Zod, yeah, that's flashy. Yeah, they're flying all over the place. But in both Superman 2 and in Man of Steel, Superman doesn't really look physically exhausted from fighting Zod. Like,
well, Superman is more interesting when he's being ideologically challenged anyway, where he can come out on top with his ethics and his values intact, even though that's the harder thing to do.
Yeah, it's
he
harder.
He could just punch somebody into the moon and be done with it, but he won't do that because that's the wrong thing to do.
100%. And the problem is, like, I think I could have explained this point a little better. I will say that. When I say that Superman's not challenged enough in the Zack Snyder films, I mean you don't see the physical wear and tear. Superman still looks just as mighty at the end of the fight as he is at the beginning of the fight. You don't see him... Like, you look at the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, right? The fight with him and Green Goblin. That fight...
Oh, yeah, they fuck each other up.
Yeah, they look like they're gonna, like, drop dead at any second at the start of the fight, let alone at the end. Like, that is brutal. That is physically being challenged. Like, that is a brutal fight.
I said I didn't like Spider-Man before, but I did like the Raimi movies, at least 1 and 2.
Yeah. Raimi's such a great filmmaker in general.
Oh, I know. I like him as a director anyway.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, we do.
Man of Steel and in Superman 2. Anthony has also seemed to have forgotten that kryptonite exists. In actual fact...
No, I didn't.
You didn't even mention kryptonite. Is that his argument for why? See, I can see Superman being weak because kryptonite.
Also, wait a second. Hang on.
He didn't mention kryptonite either.
Look at the way this is edited, by the way. He thought it was after the fact. He forgot about kryptonite also.
Oh, do you think he added that in editing?
Yeah, because he wouldn't. There's no reason it would be a different audio quality, boxed in like this on the screen, with a screenshot like this, if he was doing it with everything else. So he thought about this before uploading it, after filming. No, I didn't forget about kryptonite existing, Shad, because...
We don't even know if kryptonite's going to come into play in the new movie.
I'm reasonably confident that when Lex shoots Superman with that gun, it's going to be a kryptonite bullet. I feel that's reasonable based on the context.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lex would be... Lex, like... discover it or pay a lot of money to get it or something?
It depends on the continuity. In some versions he discovers it, in other versions he does research, in other versions Superman already knows he's weak to kryptonite and Lex just exploits it. It really depends on what version. I
mean, I've always thought it's a little dumb, like why does a piece of your own planet hurt you? But maybe because the sun affects it too, I don't know.
Well, it's no stranger than the color yellow affecting Green Lanterns, or being tied up breaks Wonder Woman's power.
And we know why.
Oh, we know why that is, but that's different. But no, Shad, I didn't forget about that at all. I was talking about physical fights.
Shad, what about pink kryptonite?
Yeah, I love pink kryptonite. It's a great effect there. It just makes you gay. Anyway.
Literally, it's canon. Pink kryptonite makes Superman gay.
I love it. Love it.
Superman seems to get challenged physically in almost every single Superman movie. Superman has...
No, not every Superman movie. It only plays into effect in the first movie, in Batman v Superman, and...
It's not. It doesn't always come up, you know? Because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of, like, the Snyder types... Well, I guess Snyder did use kryptonite. But, you know, some movie makers will be like, no, we gotta be big and serious. Kryptonite's dumb, just like he says Krypto's dumb. And I also say kryptonite... I didn't say... Well, I guess it's not dumb. It's just a very 50s sci-fi concept. You know? It's a radiation makes scorpions huge monsters kind of logic, you know?
And also, the thing about kryptonite is it kind of negates the physical conflict. It kind of puts it into a different perspective. It has physical damage on Superman, yes, but usually it means Superman can't punch his way out of the problem. That external conflict is shifted there. It is still a physical challenge, that is true, but the way that it changes the context is it kind of adjusts how things are a little bit. But again, that's neither here nor there. You know, he's wrong about being every single movie, though. So it's definitely Superman 1, definitely Superman Returns, and definitely Batman v Superman. But Krypton doesn't show up in Justice League, doesn't show up in Man of Steel, doesn't show up in Superman 3 and 4. It might show up in 2, but I might not be remembering it correctly. No, it does. No, it doesn't, because Superman uses the machine to take away his own power. It's from Krypton, but does not employ kryptonite. It also then uses that same machine to stop Zod and the others, which is not kryptonite, but the machine negating power, essentially, which is a little different.
Sounds like they just didn't want to use kryptonite, so made up a bullshit machine. And
basically, yeah. Basically.
Has been challenged, and I don't necessarily say it is an issue that Superman is so indomitable, because that's what I think what he's trying to say, even though he has referenced an objectively incorrect, point to support what he's trying to say.
Objectively incorrect point.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's objectively incorrect. What am I saying? What's incorrect?
He's objectively incorrect because I said so.
Such a dumb argument.
Is that he's trying to say Superman can be difficult to write for because he's so powerful. I think that's a selling point of his character. I think that's one of the appeals of his character. And so undermining or leaning it too much in the other way, I think starts to undermine the character.
So you want him to be a Mary Sue?
Yeah, that's what you.
That's what he said.
He's so upset with me saying he wants to marry Sue, but then says, "I want a character who's extremely powerful and can't be stopped." I'm like, that's a Mary Sue.
Because like he insists the main trait and the main appeal of Superman is being indomitable, and I don't think that's true.
No, him being very hard to hurt. That's an element of his power set. But it's not the core appeal. Yeah, but like Superman's the appeal of Superman isn't that he's unstoppable. The appeal of Superman is that he's a force of kindness and love, and that his love is unstoppable. I say this later in the video, but he's a character who comes up with simple solutions to complex problems. That's like a Death Battle actually said that, so I'm going to cite them too. But
and I keep saying, it's because he's been instilled with small town American values.
Exactly. 100%. All right,
whether you agree with that or not, that's the character, It's corny, but corny can be good sometimes.
100% agree with that, yeah. That's what he is. That's what separates him from Wonder Woman and Batman.
Superman can be challenged in other ways outside of being physically, but again, he can be challenged physically, as well as has been done in the media, where he's saying that this has been one of the big issues.
Just challenged. He isn't really saying much at all just now, conceptually. And the problem is that Superman should be pushed. He should be... I don't like the idea that Death Battle has presented of Superman, that he's like infinitely powerful.
Yeah, I'm a bit on that same page in terms of the infinitely powerful stuff, but I do like the fact that Superman is hugely indomitable, right?
But he doesn't want to marry Sue, though.
That moment when Superman arrives on the scene, like as a kid, I remember thinking, "Oh, now you're stuffed. You're done. Superman's here. He's going to mess you up." Okay,
he's not Goku.
Oh God, I can't believe he just said that.
Goku.
Yeah, he just wants Goku. He wants a fighter, but Superman's not a fighter. Superman can fight. Superman does fight, but if Superman could solve a problem without fighting, without throwing a single punch, he would. And does.
Yeah, but he's like, oh yeah, you're stuffed when Superman shows up. It's gonna be me, the big powerful man that can beat up all the people I don't like.
Exactly, which is not the case at all. But anyway,
does come along who can challenge him physically, because we know that their power level must be insane as well. And it's like, oh heck, now
power
it's on.
Level. He was like power level.
Work in favor of the character,
dumb power
and it's one of the appeals of it.
What?
Superman should be challenged. Superman should have adversity. The big.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm not saying Superman can't be challenged.
Is another thing. Okay, so he's just playing the same clip again.
In the film.
Issue a lot of audiences have with Superman, the character, from their perspective. Again, comic fans don't have this problem necessarily, but...
Prove that heaps of audience have that problem with, because it's now speaking that...
You don't know what the thing I'm going to say is, though, Shad.
Comic fans don't really have a problem with, the presentation saying that, Superman, the issue is that he can't be challenged physically.
Shad, you don't know what I'm going to say. You cut me off in the middle of the sentence. You know what you're responding to.
And now I was trying to say broader audiences have that issue. It's like, I don't necessarily think so. Have a look at the success of the media of Superman that reaches those broader audiences that depict him being...
Shad, you don't know what I'm going to say audiences have an issue with.
So crazy overpowered. Superman the Motion Picture, a very popular, successful film from memory, and Superman is crazy powered in that. He literally turns back time. So he seems to be speaking as from a...
Shad, you don't know what I'm going to say. You dumb person.
position of authority and representing the views of nearly everyone,
Finish the sentence, Shad.
the broader public sees that, and just putting words in their mouth without any valid...
Shad, you just put words in my mouth. You know what I'm going to fucking say.
Evidence to back up what he's saying.
Mainstream audiences will think Superman is so powerful, he can't be beat.
See, he's just speaking for all of the mainstream audiences, and I think what he's saying is just false, as evident by positive reception.
Later in his trailer react, he says the mainstream audiences are not gonna like Krypto.
Yeah, exactly.
And
the
when I said,
level of hypocrisy.
Chad, you're telling me mainstream audiences and children are not gonna like an adorable fucking pupper? Are you stupid?
It's so dumb. Okay, let's keep going.
Of mainstream audiences that have watched Superman media where he's overpowered.
It's almost boring how you can just solve every problem by fighting through it. But this gives us...
Like, I know there is that criticism there, but it's presenting it as the primary main issue broader audiences have. Prove it. Like, it's just kind of speaking on behalf of them without any evidence.
a sense, okay, this is Superman.
Prove mainstream audiences won't like Krypto, you stupid bastard.
Exactly. It's like you gotta find the next little in there. It's so dumb. Be challenged. It's going to be pushed beyond his limitations, and that's exciting. That's interesting. I think.
No, not necessarily. Okay, it's interesting to him.
It's not interesting to see a character challenged.
How is it not interesting to see someone overcome adversity?
No, this makes a lot of sense now, having read Chad's book. It's answered a lot of questions now I've had about his writing style.
Perfectly fine and valid. Is it just objectively interesting and better than the things that Superman has succeeded on for many years so far? Okay, there's no evidence to say that, and for me, it's a big miss.
I could cite 100 examples of Superman being challenged over the last century, but you say I won't have any knowledge of it because I can name 100 examples. You wouldn't listen.
He hasn't read the comics. I mean, I haven't either, but I'll take your word. I mean, again, I'm nominally familiar with a lot of the broad strokes of superhero history because I'm a comic artist. So
exactly,
nerd osmosis.
Oh yeah, and the problem is he's speaking from authority when it's convenient, and saying you can't speak from authority when convenient for him. But again, I wouldn't care if he does it. The problem is he's acting like a hypocrite about it.
I don't think this necessarily means it's going to be exciting. There's been so much of the deconstruction of Superman already, and trying to do different things. Let's make him more, edgy, depressed, and other things like that. That's one of the things criticism people have.
But that's not deconstruction. That's just making a darker version of the character.
But he keeps trying to say this is going to be a deconstruction just because Superman has to overcome challenge. That's not deconstructing him. That's what a superhero is.
I don't think Shad knows what deconstruction means. Seems to demonstrably misunderstand what it is. It's not making something
Zack
darker.
Snyder, the Henry Cavill one was a deconstruction. Let's make it all angsty and how his powers make him brood and have man pain. And I was like, that's just not what Superman is.
I would even say the one thing about deconstruction that Snyder does is whether or not Superman should use his powers to help. That's deconstruction. That's the most deconstruction angle of it.
I mean, but that's been done before.
Exactly. It has been done before. But Snyder, the only thing Snyder did was make it more navel-gazing. Yeah, that's the thing. Snyder just made it more navel-gazy, but tons of people have done that exact same thing. Hell, it was done back in Superman the movie. The difference is that because Snyder spent so much time talking about it, it became the deconstructionist focus of the film.
Let's show you how, Superman can be defeated.
To an audience, because it goes, hey, your hero will struggle. And that's really cool to me, I think.
It's perfectly, if that's cool to him, all right. And I'd never said Superman can't struggle in the film. And it's really...
You've literally spent the last 10 minutes explaining why Superman shouldn't struggle.
Well, earlier he's like saying, no, if it's built up to in the movie, that's fine. But as the opening shot of the trailer, that's bad. He's treating the trailer like it's a short film or something. It's so weird.
This is clearly going to be a shot from starting the last act of the film.
Superman represents the indomitable hero, okay? The paragon, the great ideal and exemplar that we would want to aspire to. All right, that's the image. Superman in victory as that aspirational image. This is not the aspirational, idyllic, heroic Superman. And I'm not saying you can't have moments in the film, but that would be in the film itself, where it's justified, where we don't know what's led up to this, what's caused this to happen. The opening image that DC wants us to think of with this new Superman is him being broken and defeated. And I don't like it.
So what I think with this image that it does that Shad's missing, which as a storyteller you should really know. So what I think with this image that it does that Shad's missing, which as a storyteller you should really know.
That's again, I'm putting himself in a position of authority. You know, as a storyteller, he should know this because I'm more informed in it. It's just like slightly disingenuous kind of tactics.
He's saying you as a storyteller should know this, not him.
I'm saying you should know this, Shad, because you
should
write
know
stories.
this, Shad, because you've written a book. Yeah, but the opening shot is to hook you.
Yeah.
I said in my only thought is, oh wow, how did we get here?
Yeah.
What happened? I want to see what happened.
Yeah, as a storyteller, you should know this detail. I don't know. I'm not talking about myself.
It's a hook, Shad. You have to get people interested in the fucking trailer and hyped for the movie, and this is how they do that.
And even then, I think I'm going even more basic than that. I'm talking about basic conflict. Narrative conflict. So again,
he doesn't want there to be a conflict. He just wants his manly self-insert to beat up all the guys he doesn't like and rape teenage girls, and then that's it.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Don't like, okay, and perhaps goes under people's radar or people that are all on board to try and dunk on me. It's like, but he's given no indication that he knows what good storytelling is or how a storyteller should be aware of this. Things like we'll hear what he says.
I can't wait till your book comes out.
Oh, you know what? It's coming soon. I just need to get my cover set up. Once that's good.
I think I said this joke about somebody else, but it should be Shad. You open a stream with, just holding your book right in front of you, by the way, I wrote a book. And put it on the shelf behind you, did you know I wrote a book?
I should have, when my book comes out, I should do, a parody of Shad style and just have, a big printout of a bookshelf with just copies of my book on the printout. And then I bump it and it falls over and it just feels like normal background.
Oh, I don't even do that. Just get a banner that's a bookshelf with nothing but copies of your book.
And then I clearly make sure it's fake. I'll tilt the camera a little bit so you can see the edges of the.
And I will design that for you to take to a printer if you want to do that.
Please, I got it. Once I gotta do that. That's my announcement trailer. It's a big poster of my spine. I love it. So great. Anyway, but yeah.
A storyteller should be able to pick
is that Superman has been presented as triumphant in every single other image of this narrative. So
not every again, hyperbole is over exaggerating there. And again, my criticism with the opening as well.
Take a drink.
Every Superman movie, he's presented initially as this triumphant figure.
Every other Superman movie, and a lot of those Superman movies where he's presented as a triumphant figure, they're loved. People love him for a reason. There's the reasons why people love Superman.
Yes, everyone loves Superman for the quest for peace. Good story where a character has Yeah, everyone loves Superman 3 with Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah,
everyone talks about it.
Yes.
Place this where I felt it missed the mark because for me, again, I'm repeating myself. They'll focus. Feels like focusing on
slightly.
the wrong
we're
thing,
both okay with that.
And missing what one of the things that we love about Superman.
So, this is the 9th live-action film to have Superman. So we got to have some variety here.
We don't have to have it because this is whatever the 9th film Superman is in. Because if people, just took his logic, what he's saying here, and ran with it, so to speak, right? It could be used to justify completely bastardizing the source material to whatever. So,
I see a gamer geek in comments, and I feel bad for your editor, lol. I am the editor. I edit my own video.
Fuck yourself in the future. That's being a small YouTuber. That's a great freeze frame you stopped on just now.
Oh God, it is.
Look at his crazy eyes there. No, you shouldn't change anything. It should be exactly what I want, and just be a remake of Superman 4.
I love how he's upset that I'm saying variety is useful in a movie franchise. No,
diversity is bad.
Anyway,
diversity is woke.
Sometimes people like the character for what the character is. Okay, and so I am not saying you can't experiment and try.
But you don't, though.
He's like, I don't like the undies. I don't like Krypto. You don't like anything about this fucking character except that he's indomitable.
And that's not a character trait. That's just a status symbol. That's power.
Yeah, and it's not even the focus of him.
Yeah, him being an unstoppable.
Boring.
Exactly. Him being an unstoppable force is not a demonstration of characterization. It's just something the character does.
He wants Goku.
Try different things, but with a track record, especially from Hollywood these days, is that the nearly not everyone, but nearly everyone that is trying this, they're nowhere near as talented as the people that made the source material, and they just bastardize and miss the mark completely.
Shad, we're talking about variety.
I don't like James Gunn, so he's less talented than a comic book author.
Yeah, to say nothing of the fact that so one of the heads of DC Studios for a while was Jeff Johns, who wrote these characters for years.
Also, Shad, you don't get to talk about James Gunn's talent after I've seen the movie you made.
I'm just like, I find it very funny how all I said was some variety is neat, and he's acting like I said something egregious.
Because he is assuming political motivations for that he's assigning to you that you didn't even say.
Exactly. All I said was, hey, let's have some variety. All these other Superman films do this, and I know that because
he just heard diversity. Diversity, woke mob, I'm in danger.
Yeah, because he's not really listening to what people are saying. He's just twisting the words around. It's not even a good rebuttal in that sense, is the problem.
To the point where so many of us are saying, just be more accurate source material. You have this great blueprint, all right? We like it for what it is. We don't want variety that then makes it different to the things that we love.
Wait a second.
You hate the undies. But you hate the undies.
But he's never read the comics. How do you know what the source material says?
In another video reacting to like the promo pictures for this, he's saying, I don't like the undies, I don't like this, that's bad. But it's like, that is like the source material, Shad. His little red undies. Get over it.
Right? And the crazy thing about all this is that, like, he's saying that the source material is this thing to cite. Okay, that's great. James Gunn's using the source material.
Yeah, Krypto is in the source material. Krypto's been around since 1955.
Yeah, and the thing is, Shad's talking about the source material, about the comics, but he's never read the comics.
Mm-hmm. Even like in the other video I reacted to, he pulled out what I thought was a comic at first, talking about the New 52, because of course, of all things, had to be the New 52. But it turned out to just be an art book of covers. It wasn't even a comic.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Which, okay, that's great. It's a good art book, I'm sure, but like, still, anyway.
About the character, the source, and everything. And so I kind of hate to say it. It's like, we need variety as a justification. It's like, see, we should be changing it now because we've had so much Superman. We want something different. It's like, I love Superman for the reasons of what makes Superman Superman, and I want those things.
But he doesn't know. Okay, I'm just
but you don't like the undies
he's just cutting to a different clip now. Okay, here we go. Let's see what he says first.
He jump cut there, did he?
He jump cut a bit, yeah, quite a bit. I'll show what he says in context to show what he's cutting up. Let's first see what he has to say.
Variety, right? No. Like, sometimes people like the character for what the character is, okay? And so I am not saying you can't experiment and try different things, but what a track record, especially from Hollywood these days, is that nearly, not everyone, but nearly everyone that is trying this, things that we love about
the character. He does not get what Superman is about.
You haven't given any definitive explanation or evidence. As so now he's just saying, he doesn't understand what to say, haven't shown it. In fact...
Okay, let's see what he skipped out. So we got to have some variety here, you know?
So, okay, flashback, right? We get to see this Clark Kent. I like this Clark Kent, okay?
I agree.
He looks distinctly a little bit more geeky than, him in his Superman outfit. His hair is a little bit different, and the glasses...
David Deister, oh my goodness, thank you for the incredible super chat. I have seen Superman challenged in every comic storyline, animated shows, and the movies. This guy doesn't understand the character. 100% agreed. That's the big issue. He does not get the character. So that's the context. Let's see what he says.
The things that I've said about what Superman is and what I love about him and what many people love about him, that's correct. You haven't given any evidence to contradict that, but now you've jumped out. He just does not understand the character. Again, sort of those slimy tactics that people use where this is just an attempt to...
He doesn't include a response to a question.
Slimy tactics? Chad, you don't sound like someone who's ever had a chill nerd argument if you're using terms like slimy tactics.
Yeah, especially leaving out its response to a comment made, which I included.
It's not that deep, bro.
Yeah, it's very funny, though.
Undermine credibility instead of addressing the actual evidence and argument that I put forward.
Yeah, so Shad doesn't get Superman already. That's the thing, right? Oh, he cut out everything. Oh, hang on a second.
You've given no evidence. You've
does not get what Superman is about. Superman is ultimately... Now, here's the thing, too, a lot of people don't get about Superman. Superman is ultimately a Moses story. People comparing him to Jesus a lot. He's really a Moses story. He's an immigrant who's traveled from his home into a new land. He's raised up and adopted by those who live there and has to acclimate with his fantastic power to make people better, to make the world a better place in his wake. Superman is all about struggling beyond struggle. He is the immigrant story. He is the story of someone who comes with great knowledge and experience into a place that's unfamiliar to him. 100% agree with that. And thank you so much for the super chat. That's incredibly generous of you. Yeah, so Shad doesn't get Superman already. That's the thing right now I'm getting. He does not understand Superman. He does not get Superman. That's the thing right. He cut out a lot there, didn't he, Shad? Slimy Tactics.
Do you think Shad knows that Superman was invented by 2 Jewish guys?
I don't think he knows anything about Superman, quite frankly.
He probably doesn't.
But I love that. Slimy Tactics cuts out a minute of me talking.
Cuts out all the context. It calls you slimy.
Doesn't provide any evidence. Cuts out me saying every example needed. You know, Shad, I'm not impressed by your argument skills if you have to cut out all of the fucking statement to make a counter-argument.
He would not be able to do a live debate.
No fucking way.
No shot.
But please, Shad, inform me about my slimy tactics.
You've mentioned a couple of different things here and there. You've referenced one comic book as an attempt to try and justify the tone of the trailer, but you've literally not mentioned a single thing that contradicts the standard that I've already presented about one of the primary things people love about Superman. What I love about Superman is his power, his dominable virtue, his paragon of justice, okay? And he's now trying to say Shad doesn't understand the character at all without giving anything to refute how I've...
Right now I'm getting. He does not understand how Superman is ultimately... Now, here's the thing, too, a lot of people don't get about Superman. Love it. Going on a whole tangent, doesn't respond to a thing.
Mm-hmm. But instead of addressing that, as I mentioned, this is the commentator, and I predicted that this is where, people from this end of the political spectrum usually, what they do, this is how they go about argumentation.
He's making it about politics, when he claims everybody else does.
Superman, he's not get Superman. Yep. One thing also I will say about this Clark Kent.
Okay, so it goes on, because this is part I've seen, explain why this Clark Kent potentially work. And guess what? We agree on this point where he says here, because I mentioned in my reaction, this Clark Kent looks decent.
Doesn't cite a single example from the comics. I show you art from behind the scenes of All-Star Superman. One thing also I will say about this Clark Kent, look at his posture. I want you to focus on his posture for a second. There's a great sketch. Take a look at this real quick. This right here, I want you all to focus on this image right here because it's so insightful as to how Superman is as a character. We got here Superman, tall, neck straight, back strong, chest proudly out, his chin raised. Clark Kent, little slouched, relaxed, head's not up straight, it's kind of sticking out a little bit, looks a little more, tries to change his physicality. Even though his body hasn't changed at all, he changes his physicality and he looks drastically different. This is the divide between Clark Kent and Superman. Hair's a little untucked there, he has glasses on shore. You can see how someone can see these two people and not realize they're the same person. So right there, you look at Clark Kent, and there's a few shots later in the trailer where I want you to just keep that in mind. Look at his posture. Look at his shoulders. Look how he's slumped over a little bit. You can see the difference in how Clark Kent carries himself as Clark Kent, the reporter, versus as Clark Kent, the man, and Clark Kent as Superman. Because it's 3 different versions of Superman. You have Superman, the superhero, Clark Kent, the reporter, and those are both alter egos for Clark Kent, the person. Skimming over that part for some reason.
Also, you never denied you agreed with him here.
Yeah, I said it multiple times.
I agreed with him here too. He's a good Clark Kent.
He's a great Clark Kent, exactly. So funny. Doesn't cite a single comic. Skips over the parts where I talk about the art direction of All-Star Superman.
And Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent was the best. And look at that. Anthony and I would be able to agree on things, probably have a good conversation. The issue that I take is the tactics of the argumentation already, he's not being honest. Okay, he hasn't addressed...
Well, no one can have a conversation with you because you just assume what people are going to think based on the politics you think they have.
Not to mention the fact that you cut out everything I just fucking said to make it sound like I'm saying something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
But you present your audience wouldn't know the difference.
And then accuses you of slimy tactics.
Slimy tactics.
Slimy tactics.
Oh, it's so rich. I knew I'd catch him somewhere with it. I wonder how often more you pull that shit in this video.
Probably a lot. We're not even halfway through.
I'm halfway through.
He's trying to that. Shad just doesn't fundamentally understand the character at all, with very poor references to back him up that don't contradict that standard I've established for Reeves Clark Kent.
So far, yeah, I agree. Poor examples like All-Star Superman, one of the most beloved comics of all time. Okay.
He's the posture and the way that he held himself. But I don't understand the character at all. Interesting, because if I didn't understand the character, he's literally there.
Yes, because I'm talking about the Moses allegory of the character, you dumb shit.
He actually said interesting, like a fucking sea lining asshole.
Yo, yeah. because I mentioned about that comment was about Moses' allegory with Superman. Which
but he cut out the context and then accused you of slimy tactics.
Oh yeah, what's more slimy than cutting out all the entire statement? You put the beginning sentence and the last sentence of a statement together, and you cut out everything in the middle. And then you try to hide the fact you're jump cutting around. It's fucking hilarious.
And it was like such an obvious, like, harsh jump cut too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that's funny as shit.
Understand, how could I get this correct from his perspective, and how could we be agreeing on that? Might it be that your characterization of my understanding of Superman is complete bullcrap, and you're doing it as a disingenuous tactic to try and win internet votes?
Okay, so Chad, I actually agree with him on that one.
But I completely misunderstand and don't get Superman as a character. Go on, Anthony.
It's amazing how when you cut bits around and like staple them together, they say a different statement than if you included the full sentence. It's hilarious. And not even full sentences, but like fragments of the sentence from like different minutes across the video. It's amazing.
Chad, you keep making me bang my fist against my drawing tablet.
It's like saying, wow, if I sew a hand next to a nose, they don't fit together all that well. I wonder why. Why can't I put a nose on a hand? Like, I can't imagine why, Shad.
Be honest, man.
He's right.
These are ornaments, tangential elements to the film that I feel it needs to get right, but if the core of the film misses the mark, even if they get these tangential things right, it's not going to redeem or save the film.
Oh, I fully disagree with you on that one. This is not...
Okay, point I said, because we're going to break this down. If he fully disagrees with me, let's hope that he understands what I was saying.
Oh my god, he didn't even let you finish your sentence!
Right? Because he can't let me finish the sentence. If I talk, he's wrong. The problem is his structure is entirely not about actually arguing against anything I say. It's about him bragging about himself a lot. And
bragging about himself and assuming what you're going to say while at least restricting himself from using the word woke because he can at least learn a little bit that doesn't make him look good.
Exactly. It's just not a good argument. This next segment is going to be broken up intensely by Shad. So I want you to see the whole thing complete before we see how Shad breaks it down, breaks it up, and misconstrues what I'm saying to his audience, and arguably even to himself.
This does look like a decent Clark Kent, but there's a couple of moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, these are ornaments, tangential elements to the film that I feel it needs to get right, but if the core of the film misses the mark, even if they get these tangential things right, it's not going to redeem or save the film.
Oh, I fully disagree with you on that one. This is not tangential. This is the core of the character. If Superman the character is nailed correctly, the whole movie will come into place as a result. People have a soft spot for even Superman 3 and 4 because Christopher Reeve is so good in the role. Even though Superman 4 and 3 are garbage films, like they're not good at all, they are moments where they shine because Christopher Reeve is just so perfect in the role. But let's hear what he has to say. I'm sure it's not something off to speed through.
I'm sure it's great. Yeah,
I'm sure it's great.
Not going to redeem the film. I'll still be very disappointed by it. He fundamentally disagrees about this. That point that I was making.
Not tangential. This is the core of the character.
Hang on,
I fully disagree with you on that one. This is not tangential. This is the core of the character.
How Clark Kent looks. It's like,
yes.
No, the core of the character is what Superman is. This is a tangential thing. So, and I said, I want to get the tangential stuff right. I want to get Clark Kent right, okay? And I'm talking about what? His appearance. How they depict and show Clark Kent, not his personality and core characteristics as a...
Oh my god, Shad, how did you miss the point that badly?
The way he holds himself and depicts himself as Clark Kent is part of his personality.
Yeah, what are you talking about? The entire dynamic of how Clark Kent fits into the world around him is the core of his character. That includes his appearance, his interactions, his personality.
I love the whole thing of him pretending to be a klutz as part of his cover. Exactly. But that also shows he's a little impish. He's doing it on purpose, and he is not afraid to look foolish or have people underestimate him. That's a good quality. It's a good, admirable quality to not worry about appearances and worry about people assuming you're foolish, even when you're doing it to help them or,
Exactly.
Something Shad wouldn't understand. That's like positive masculinity.
Agreed. Superman's a great positive masculine character.
Yeah.
But the problem is that, the issue I have with his perspective here is that he's acting as though these are all separate elements. they're not. These are all connected elements.
It's not enough for Clark Kent to be geeky and have, glasses. Again, they've developed that more into, how he kind of plays a persona when he's Clark,
100%. And that's the thing right there. The problem is that Shad is treating this like it is any part of this is individual. It is just the one thing. This is separate from everything else. That Clark's appearance is different from his personality, which is different from his power, which is different from his everything. But they're all interconnected. They're not.
Yeah.
A big fan of the character knows these are not separate floating elements.
This all-powerful man chooses to look like a humble, average person most of the time.
Exactly. 100%. That sums it up right there.
Chad, how do I get this more than you? I don't like corny cape shit. I like the angsty stuff.
Yeah, and yet you figured it out so basically because you can look at what's in front of you and register that as information.
I did watch the Superman cartoon as a kid and enjoyed it,
100% agree, yeah. And the problem is Shad doesn't get that these elements aren't separate. They're all interconnected. Anyway, back to this.
As a character, he seems to think, and completely miss the mark, that I'm talking about that Clark Kent's personality, right? He thinks I'm talking about that, and I'm talking about how they visually show Clark Kent and how he behaves in front of Lois and stuff if he is showing that there's going to be, a difference in posture and things that people would actually
acting like he's just doing it for Lois and not the world.
Yeah, he's doing it for the world. Also, Shad, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the fact you think those are separate things is the problem.
Yeah, and also, though, the thing is, too, like I said earlier, him being a country bumpkin means it's not just entirely an act. He is.
Mm-hmm. He's from the country.
He is in the big city for the first time as a little yokel kid. He was raised by Ma and Pa Kent with good old American values in the middle of nowhere, fucking Kansas.
Look at Clark Kent, he's Superman. I'm not talking about his moral compass, the core of who he is as a character, which is what Anthony seems to now leap to and say, that's what I'm saying. No.
No, it's not. I'm saying they're connected. If Superman the character is nailed correctly, the whole movie will come into place as a result.
That's bullcrap, all right? If they nail Superman as a character, you can enjoy the film still, even if they get other elements of the film incorrect.
Wait, what?
He was so ruthless. He just said what you just said.
Yeah, that's what I literally
rueful.
Just fucking said. You don't.
Bro.
No, you're wrong because it's this thing that you just said. Okay. Well, actually, no, it's not technically the same thing because he just said you can still enjoy the film even if the rest is bullcrap. I think is what he's saying. But I think let's see what he has to
That's
say.
the standard I'm sharing. I think this is absolutely true. And because what I say in my trailer reaction, I say the reverse, right? If they get the tangential elements right, but the core of the film is wrong, ruins it. Okay? Anthony is.
What is the core of the film? It's the character of Superman. If they get the core of the film correct, which is the character Superman, everything works. Do you think Superman is not the core of the film Superman?
He's the main character. It's about him, bro.
Do you think that the character design is not reflective of how the character presents and sees themselves?
Yeah,
that character design doesn't inform personality?
Is saying that if you get the core of the character right, it inherently makes everything else come together. No, it doesn't. It doesn't inherently make everything else come together. If they ruin certain other aspects that are just objectively flawed and don't work, even if the core works really well and does well, it doesn't redeem those things. It can make them tolerable, all right, that you can ignore, and it's easier to get past them, okay? And there are so many films, Alita Battle Angel is probably a perfect example of this, actually, because there's a lot of dumb, incorrect, plot-holey kind of stuff, and the motivations of the villain and stuff, but the core of that film, the character of Alita, motivations, and there's so much that works in that.
The motivations of the characters is to get to a place of wealth. That makes total sense. There's nothing contradictory about that.
No.
That film, and especially the core, I love so much that it makes a lot of the things that it misses the mark on, that are kind of orbiting what the core is, completely tolerable, easier to ignore. And what I found is when a TV show or movie, the core that misses the mark and it's horrible, it almost can exaggerate and make those tangential things even worse because they stick out more. And so he is saying something.
Has he actually explained what the core of the film even is?
No!
He doesn't know what the fucking core is.
What he thinks the core of Superman is other than indomitable.
Oh yeah, being indomitable and unstoppable, that's the core. Yeah, because that's not really a core, that's just a feature. It's not actually...
Yeah, the core is his small town upbringing.
Yeah, it's his character, ultimately. It's all the facets of his character.
And you think he would like wholesome traditional values, You know,
Yeah.
you think Mr. Mormon guy over here, would love that shit.
He's a family man. Like, why wouldn't, it doesn't make any sense why he's rambling about this so much. It's, like, very bizarre to me.
Logical through line is just saying if the core is right, everything else comes together. That is just objectively not the case with how storytelling works. It's almost one of those times when, you could hazard a statement saying that a storyteller should really know that. Now,
You should know that, Shad.
Yeah.
Because
Are you not a storyteller, Shad?
Yeah, because I never said the story was perfect or flawless.
He thought you were talking about yourself when you said a storyteller should know that, though.
Yeah, I said he's the storyteller.
He didn't realize you were talking about him.
Man, that's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Even he doesn't believe he's an author.
Yeah, I love how I call him a storyteller and he doesn't even seem to register I'm talking about him.
Yeah.
that's not generally the thing, but I'm doing it, of course, because that's what he tried to say to me. He's like, Shad is a storyteller, he should really know this.
Oh, there we go. Okay, he does know.
He did realize it. Okay, the way he said it, the way he responded to that at first, he sounded like he was saying, you were saying that about yourself.
Yeah, right? I thought that too. Okay, so I'm glad I wasn't the one that misunderstood that.
Okay, that was a little unclear there, little Shaddy, but...
Yeah, that's fair enough. Again, the problem with Shad sometimes is when he communicates an idea, it's not always the most clear way he could communicate it.
No, not at all.
No, yeah.
If you are familiar with how stories work, that is something that I think is more fundamental to know as a storyteller, that there is, and he seems to understand the importance of the core, but now he is exaggerating that because the core works, everything's coming together. He literally says that. We can re-listen to him.
Yeah, everything falls together. That doesn't mean it's flawless.
You're saying it will fall together if the core, being Superman, is done well.
But that's not me saying it's flawless. There's tons of stories out there that don't work.
The movie isn't even out yet.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't know what the problems of the movie are because it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, he just treats the trailer like it is the entire movie.
Yeah, it's bizarre. If Superman the character is nailed correctly, the whole movie will come into place as a result.
Whole movie will come into no. Now, if he's trying to say the whole movie can be enjoyable and it'll work better because they nailed the most important part, yeah, I agree. But it doesn't mean that everything is going to come into place at all. Not even close. Nonsense.
People have a soft spot for even Superman 3 and 4 because Christopher Reeve is...
Now I was just going to continue on this, and...
I love how he actually cuts off my thought there as I further explain what I mean by it all coming together.
Yeah, like, bro, just keep your finger off the trigger for a second there.
Yeah, because I go on to say that Superman 3 and 4 aren't good movies, but people
We're not even pause-anding as much as him.
Seriously. But I say, hey, the movies are liked because Superman's in it, and he's really charming. That's what it says. Again, he's arguing something that no one actually said. He's creating strawmen. For those keeping track at home.
What he's been doing this whole time, he's been creating strawmen to hit with his big, stupid swords.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow he still keeps missing.
Completely missed what I was saying. Now he's addressing a point that I did not make. My criticism was that if they get Clark Kent's way...
The irony.
This whole time, you stupid bastard!
He's making an argument I didn't make. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Almost like you made an argument.
He'll play you saying, okay, but like, I know what his argument's going to be. It's going to be this thing right here because he's a leftist and I'm going to go on about it for 7 minutes.
And then I go off on a different tangent like, wait a second, no, that's not my argument. I'm like, yeah, it isn't your argument. It's my argument, bitch. Get on the board. Okay, this is great.
He presents himself to other people right, is not going to redeem it if the core of the character in Superman is done very poorly. That's right, that was my point. He is now addressing not even that, not even close.
That is Don Quixote.
Like he's addressing something that Shad got wrong,
strong.
and people who just missed that very deceptive sleight of hand that he played, where he's now switched the argument and addressing a straw man. People who do not notice that, they're going to be going, yeah, Shad does really...
The slide tactic missing a straw man. Finishing my sentence.
That's literally not the argument I made at all. This is the presentation, the depiction of Superman.
Oh, he skipped the entire argument I made.
He skipped right over you after assuming what your argument was going to be.
What did I say?
Jesus Christ!
This does look like a decent Clark Kent, but there's a couple of moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, these are ornaments, tangential elements to the film that I feel it needs to get right, but if the core of the film...
Here's what Shad disagreed. It cut out.
Misses the mark, even if they get these tangential things right, it's not going to redeem or save the film.
Oh, I fully disagree with you on that one. This is not tangential. This is the core of the character. If Superman the character is nailed correctly, the whole movie will come into place as a result. People have a soft spot for even Superman 3 and 4 because Christopher Reeve is so good in the role. Even though Superman 4 and 3 are garbage films, like they're not good at all, they are moments where they shine because Christopher Reeve is just so perfect in the role. Kevin Garrett, thank you, Super Chat. See, right there, exactly. Everything he just said was countered because I finished my statement. Yep, everything he just said was rendered completely pointless.
So he cut that out because he had just assumed what your argument was going to be was wrong, but didn't feel like doing another take, I guess.
Exactly. And then I go on to talk about the quote from Death Battle I said before, where where actually in this case Gavin Careth mentioned, citation there, a simple solution to overwhelming problems. Right there, that is what the core of the character, I think, what I describe later on is. So I give an example, I give specifics.
And this is a character who could easily solve, quote unquote, a problem with violence. I mean, we see that in Injustice. The threat of Superman just fucking ending you brings world peace of a kind.
Yeah, and that storyline's a dark future because it's an example of why Superman needs to use those methods that he uses. Because if he doesn't, he can create a fascist dictatorship. And that's
I'm not surprised that Shad doesn't understand wielding power responsibly and having to go by a code of ethics and virtues to check yourself. You know?
In fact, by that logic, if Shad says the core of the Superman character is just being indomitable, then Superman Red Sun, Injustice Superman, and the Superman Justice Lords from DC Animated Universe are all just as much Superman as the mainstream Superman is.
Yeah. Probably what he'd prefer anyway.
Yeah, he'd prefer it, because nothing's inverted.
He'd probably watch Injustice and go, oh yes, this is the perfect Superman.
And you want people to notice first and foremost. It makes me worry that it potentially could be a deconstructionist, approach to Superman, where they're going to break down the character and not focus.
Is your superhero struggling deconstruction? No,
that's not what I said. I said it concerns me that that's where they could be going. At no point did I say that.
That's exactly what you said, dude.
You
just said, he's lying in the snow. This is a deconstruction.
Exactly. That's what implication are we supposed to get? Just because
he says it's a deconstruction, and then Superman's scruffy little pupper hops up to him and rescues him.
I love it. But the thing is, like, I don't think Shad understands something about how to communicate ideas, because he's saying words next to a visual. The visual and the words connect in a way to communicate message, sometimes messages that are not directly stated. Just because he didn't say the exact words I used in the exact order I used them in, doesn't mean the interplay of his words and the visuals on the video communicate a different message than maybe even he realizes. So either Shad is lying or Shad is incompetent. It is one of the two.
Oh. We know he's incompetent. He might lie as well, though.
Yeah, he's either lying or he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when he combines his words with visuals.
But Anthony doesn't want to approach this honestly and is just trying to, I guess, leap to any disingenuous straw man that he can latch onto at this point.
Like how you cut out most of the sentences I've said to make it sound like I was saying a different statement? Like that kind of dishonesty, Shad? Funny how that works out, isn't it?
Let's listen to what I say again. It makes me worry that it potentially could be a deconstruction. It makes me worry that it potentially could be a deconstruction of Superman as a character. Then Anthony...
Let's see what he actually had to say there with the full sentence.
Well, still, what part of this makes you think it's going to be a deconstruction? Just because he gets whacked down into the snow in the first few seconds of the trailer to hook people's interest?
Yep. Let's look at the full thing he says.
This doesn't give me I want to see what possibly could have defeated Superman. This is...
It does!
The presentation, the depiction of Superman you want people to notice first and foremost. It makes me worry that it potentially could be a deconstructionist, approach to Superman, where they're going to break down the character and not focus.
Is your superhero struggling deconstruction? No, it's not deconstruction. It's reconstruction. Zack Snyder. See, again, right there, superhero struggling.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Zack Snyder was a deconstruction, a bad one.
So again, what Shad's doing is twisting the situation. He didn't directly said, I didn't say struggling is a bad thing. But no, I'm saying that you're showing this hero beaten and broken, in your words, you repeat repeatedly throughout
He
the trailer
repeatedly says it. It's like the first image of this new Superman is embattled and broken. That means it's gonna be a deconstruction. They're gonna show men as weak, it's woke, you know. And again, he didn't say that in so many words, but that's what he meant.
Exactly.
It's so obvious that's what you meant, dude. Just don't even stop pretending.
Yeah, like, don't bullshit me. Quite frankly, we all know what you're saying.
Yeah, right.
He just wants to take that and say, well, listen to us.
Is your superhero struggling deconstruction?
And then Anthony wants to take that to mean that superhero struggling is deconstruction. Not even close to the concern that I was expressing that might happen. I'm not even saying the trailer is doing that. I'm saying it concerns me that it could go in that direction.
You have no reason to think it will or does.
Yeah, no, it's
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
You're basing it on nothing but he's beaten up in the very first shot of the trailer. That's it. That's only. You took that and you extrapolated so many assumptions out of your fucking ass.
It's so funny though, because he doesn't know he's like, he keeps saying, "I didn't say that word exactly." Yeah, you didn't, but you're saying it with your words and your combination of visual language. You know,
This man is a father.
yeah, he has kids.
Can Anthony not simply hear what I'm saying honestly and address that truthfully, like, instead of making a straw man? Because so far this is pretty regular straw man stuff where it's just trying to misinterpret and latch onto anything.
Zack Snyder deconstructed Superman. No, it was very sloppy. Deconstruction is not a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Now, I actually would agree with him here. My experience is that it has been done very poorly, as we've seen in the past, and that's my concern of what they're going to be doing with Superman. I actually will acknowledge that I think a deconstruction could potentially work well, where they want to subvert certain tropes. I'm sure there's, stories and stuff that I have really liked that have been deconstructionist, okay? But the execution of what we've seen with Superman down in the past, very poor, and it's at the point where I've seen it too much and didn't work. Don't try it again. Give us the Paragon version of Justice Superman that we want.
Chad.
Then they have the inspirational.
Everyone is sick. Everyone
Also-
is sick and tired of deconstructions. So what makes you think they're gonna do another one?
Also,
that would be box office poison. He doesn't follow the industry either. I
No,
can tell.
100%. But also, what's funny is he cut out the rest of my sentence.
It makes me worry that it potentially could be a deconstructionist, approach to Superman, where they're going to break down the character and not focus.
Is your superhero struggling deconstruction? No, it's not deconstruction. It's reconstruction. Zack Snyder deconstructed Superman. No, it was very sloppy. Deconstruction is not a good or a bad thing. It is just a thing. Zack Snyder tried to deconstruct Superman, but in doing so forgot that in order to deconstruct something, you must first properly construct it. James Gunn is aware of this and is building Superman as a hero here. And here, what do heroes do? They overcome adversity.
He thinks, I'm being too critical, perfectly fine, but I don't think that undermines my criticism or, my credibility in any. I don't care about James Gunn or the fact that he made Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a personal problem, my dude.
Yeah, I get that. All right, but I can still say it. I'm allowed to share my
you're
personal subjective view, and there's a good amount of people that do agree with
Yeah,
me.
you're allowed to share your stupid opinions. You sure do it a lot.
No one's going to stop you. But we will respond to it.
Please, we won't stop you. You're a font of gold.
Clark's parents alive? I really don't like how they kill one of them off in every adaptation.
Interestingly, because on that logical standpoint,
hope
where
they don't
you
kill
have
one of them
a subjective kind
seriously.
of reaction to how, certain things Superman have done in the past, right? That's completely equivalent to my subjective reaction to the way they chose to depict Superman at the beginning. Now,
No, it's not. It's not
You
at all.
just made an offhand comment about, they're showing Mom and Pa Kent. I hope they don't kill one of them.
Yeah, that's not at
You're
all.
not assuming they're gonna. You're just saying you didn't like that in past movies.
Yeah, and just because they kill Pa Kent off in a lot of these adaptations doesn't mean I think the movies are bad. I think the death of Pa Kent in the Superman the movie, the first one, is one of the most profoundly emotional bits in the first half of that film.
Why kill him, though? He's not Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not necessary. In some versions,
No.
they keep him alive for a very long time. Others,
In the
they...
cartoon, he had both of his parents still. It was good.
It was great. It was fantastic. But for whatever reason, the movies, they keep killing off Pa Kent.
And
it really sucks.
he goes and he will go to his parents for solace and advice. He goes to two ordinary farmers for advice. This godlike being, that is the core of the character.
Mm-hmm. And I think it works in Superman the movie because the idea there is that Clark, for all the power he has in the world, he can't stop a heart attack. And that's meant to show him that for all this power, he's not unstoppable. He's not a god.
And that's a very human death. It's not like, I'm gonna let a tornado eat me because you can't show your powers.
I hate that stupid tornado scene. It's so dumb.
He just stands there with his hand out all stoic like that would fucking happen.
As the tornado
He'd be in
slowly
the-
slides
he'd be
over
in the
him.
sky screaming already.
And like, why couldn't Clark just go in to get the dog? Like, why did
He's got fucking super speed. No one would even see him go inside the tornado, you fucking idiots.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyway, back to this.
Anthony's logic, right? His standard is that, it has been done similar in one of the previous comics before. And because you don't like it, right, even though I'm focusing on what the more common kind of depiction of what Superman is, but because it was done in a comic or a work of Superman previously, you don't know anything about Superman. That's kind of the...
No, that's not what I just said, so it's not accurate.
Yeah. Invalid.
And construction that is built to undermine my credibility here. Yet he's just done the exact same thing, where he has...
Undermine my credibility.
Yeah. No, Shad, all I said is I don't like something.
As he's reacting to the part where he bitches about how James Gunn's name is in there in big letters.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, all I said was, I don't like when you do that. I said the movie's gonna be bad.
Yeah, you weren't even talking about his react, you were just commenting on the fucking movie.
Yeah. Which is funny because, like, it doesn't actually connect whatsoever to what he's talking about. I said, I don't like when that happens.
And they're showing Ma and Pa Kent in the trailer for a reason, to show us that this is going to be a back to roots Superman.
Yeah, this honesty, earnestness. It's just, again.
It's not like he doesn't want to see, but are they not Superman things where one or both the parents have died in the past? Okay, versions of him done in the past. Does that undermine Anthony's credibility according to the standard he is proposing here? Does he not know anything about Superman as a result?
I'd rather them both be alive. Shad, none of that actually applies to anything we're talking about.
What the fuck is Bro on about?
The fact that he used that as an example of trying to get as a gotcha proves he doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Such a little bitch.
Yeah, it's the most pedantic nonsense possible. Yeah, no, the difference is, Shad, that you said I don't understand. What's the word? The problem is, Shad, that you were talking about the core of the character and how that has to be a certain way, and you didn't understand what the core of the character was. I said I wish they would do something a little different with Ma and Pa Kent. Oh my god, this is great. Alive. I prefer that in the DC animated universe, where he has both parents alive and both wholesome figures in his life. I like that more. So I'm hoping that this is just him like talking to his dad after.
Now, this is the thing. I'm not the one who set up this trying to kind of arbitrary standard that if someone has...
He can't respond to anything I'm saying. He has to make up his own nonsense to get mad about.
subjective, outlook of what they want to see in Superman because of the preferences that they have, okay? That if that is then, not done in one of the comic books or source materials or anything like that, that then undermine someone's credibility, they don't understand the character. I don't think that at all. Actually, this is the type of opinions that I really like amongst nerds. I want to hear what people want, what they like, and what they hope to see out of the thing. It's Anthony that has made this arbitrary standard to try and undermine my credibility as a form to criticize me and my reaction to the trailer.
How is he?
My God, he thinks this is such a gotcha. It was just like an absent-minded comment you made.
Yeah, how is it
you weren't even making an argument.
I think he knocked himself out with the windmill. Somehow he fought so many windmills, he knocked himself out.
People are saying tilting at windmills. Okay, next Shad react, I gotta draw him as Don Quixote.
Yes.
That is the perfect metaphor for Shad.
Somehow he's losing a fencing match to a windmill.
Hey, Shad, maybe that should be your next video. Big sword versus windmills.
And yet his believes that is doing essentially what is equivalent. Tangential.
It's not tangential. That's the core of the character.
No, I'm saying about the parents. See how I was doing it again?
Hey, Shad, what was the comment you said exactly? Let's play the whole clip. Oh, you skipped over the Kryptos. Oh, that's right here. Never mind. I made a mistake there. Right here.
All right.
We should probably skip to the Krypto stuff. God, he's being boring.
He's so boring,
well,
yeah. Let me look there.
All right. Is he going to have a good relationship with his dad by the look of it?
Okay, well, let me look there. A lot of people point out this might be like mourning. Like this look, some people are theorizing, and I'm hoping they're wrong, that this is Clark Kent comforting his father after maybe his mother dies. I hope that's not the case. I really want to see Clark's parents alive. I really don't like how they kill one of them off in every adaptation. I'd rather them both be alive. I prefer that in the DC animated universe, where he has both parents alive and they're both wholesome figures in his life. I like that more. So I'm hoping that this is just him like talking to his dad after like a rough time and not like a death.
Good. Again, those are good elements. But as I mentioned, it's tangential.
It's not tangential. That's the core of the character. This is the character. This is Superman's character. He is meant to be a son of two worlds. He's meant to have this wholesome, honest relationship with his families. It's not like that's just an extra element. This is who the character is. I mentioned before I see both Clark the reporter and Clark the hero as different facets of who Clark is.
To get Superman right, you need to get the core concept of this character right. Otherwise, all these other things that you might be doing well, doesn't matter.
Element, this is who the character is. I mentioned before I see both Clark the reporter and Clark the hero. And again, he cuts all of this out, this whole detailed diatribe about, like,
is trying to say something that is a separate kind of thing to the core of the character and then interpreting that as the core of the character. There's been very great, well done, enjoyed, received Superman stories that has the father pass away. That's usually the more common thing. And there's ones where the parents are alive. Lois and Clark Superman, perfect example. But then he wants to latch onto something that is not the core of the character and then represent it that it is. It's like, I'm not
so he's saying, so in this scene he's saying that I'm saying the death of the parent is the core of the character, when I'm actually saying it's the fact that he's a son of two worlds is the core of the character.
Yeah, and then the whole he was raised by wholesome Kansas farmers thing is very important to his character. And,
exactly.
I was gonna say something else, but my brain completely just short-circuited right now.
Oh, I hear you. The problem is that he is taking elements, mixing up statements I make from different statements, reapplying them to make it sound like I'm saying one thing when in actuality I'm saying something totally different.
I was gonna agree with something you said that Superman is always Clark Kent.
Yeah, he's
even when he's
Clark
Superman, he's Clark Kent. I mean, Batman deliberately calls him Clark because he knows the man, not the symbol that is Superman. Batman, on the other hand, is always Batman. Yeah, even when he's Bruce Wayne.
What was the one thing from Batman Beyond? It's like, in my dreams, I always call myself Batman. It's like...
Well, it's like there's also a great scene from the comics where they're all like Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman are all like giving each other introductions as their secret identities, and she's got the lasso of truth to make sure.
Yep.
And she introduces herself as Diana, and Superman introduces himself as Clark Kent, Kal-El, and Batman just says Batman.
Yeah, because that's who he is. That's who he is at his core.
It's great.
Batman.
I'm Batman.
All right, let's keep going with this.
Talking about Superman, who he is as an individual here. I'm talking about if his dad is going to be alive or not in the film.
Well, I'm not talking about that.
The film can work regardless of their choice on this. Anthony, latching on.
Wait, he never actually mentioned the fact. Wait, no, hang on a second. He just lied just now. He said that he's wondering if his point is that one parent might be dead. I brought that up. He never mentioned that.
He's still arguing with your point because he thinks this is some kind of gotcha. Like, oh, you said speculating on the movie ruins my credibility, but you just speculated, friend. So there.
No, but it sounds like what he's implying is that I think he got himself mixed up there at a certain point.
I think he's saying you are saying that a core part of the character is one of the parents dying because you didn't understand. What the fuck? You just made a fucking offhanded comment like, oh, I hope they don't kill one of the parents. Like, that wasn't even part of your fucking argument, but he's acting like it is.
And at this point in the video, I'm talking about how he's the son of two worlds.
He has nothing else to grasp onto to call you disingenuous while cutting up your points and not showing you in context.
Exactly. It's funny as shit. We're getting Krypto here,
completely.
Though. This is the character.
And now he's criticizing something that I'm not even mentioning or focusing. That's not my argument at all.
Because it wasn't you. He wasn't even talking about you, bro. He just made a comment about the movie.
And also, at this point, he said that the relationship between Clark and his parents is tangential. I said the relationship between Clark and his parents is the core of the character.
No, it's paramount.
Yeah, it's paramount. It's one of the most important elements.
If Superman was not raised by Ma and Pa Kent, he wouldn't be Superman.
Exactly. And the fact that he's twisting the argument to talk about, like, Ma and Pa Kent living or dying or whatever is proof.
Yeah, when it was just an offhand fucking comment. We're gonna get to the Krypto freak out, but that is even the biggest freak out in his fucking video.
Oh yeah, no, that's when Superman letting these people die.
Which is actually is either being dishonest or he lacks the capacity to understand someone's argument. Which one is it? Let me know in the comments. What do you think?
I think Superman's character is meant to be a son of two worlds. He's meant to have this wholesome, honest relationship with his family.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have a wholesome, honest relationship with his parents. I'm saying if the dad is alive or not, that's not going to affect...
Didn't say that's your argument, you dumb motherfucker!
And now he's taking the words I said and acting like he said it.
This is so bizarre!
That's the funniest shit in the world. Oh my god. He took my argument, said it was his argument, and now he's arguing against me?
Shad, how do you do this? What the fuck is going on?
Oh my God.
Is it just the stream? It's gone on too long. Are we losing our minds? Are we hallucinating?
No. This is legitimate. This is great. Oh my God. This is great.
How well the film will be if they miss the core of the character. That is what I'm saying. He is arguing against nonsense that I haven't said. To get Superman.
This is what he said. To remind everyone, here is the words that I'm arguing with Shad at this point in the video. His father, after maybe his mother dies. I hope that's not the case. I really want to see Clark's parents alive.
Elements.
You were just giving your own opinion on the trailer. You weren't even talking about him.
Right? Again, right here. Here's what he says. Just to remind everyone, this is his argument. I hope that's not the case. I really want to see Clark's parents just to remind everyone, here's what I'm arguing in this case. One of them off in every adaptation. I'd rather them both be alive. I prefer that in the DC animated universe, that he has both him like talking to his...
Good. Again, those are good elements. But as I mentioned, it's tangential.
It's not tangential. That's the core of the character.
Oh, yeah.
This is the character. See? He's lying about what his point is.
Okay,
because
so
he's gotten himself mixed up.
He's saying his relationship with his parents is tangential to Superman.
Right? So...
Bro, you do not understand this character.
Right? Okay, cool. And the funniest thing is, in his response to this, he then lies and takes what I said as an offhand comment and acts like that's what he said the whole time. When he never even mentioned this as a possibility.
Bro, you should have scripted this, Shad. Jesus.
My God, doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. All right, here's the dog.
And right, you need to get the core concept of this character right. Otherwise, all these other things that you might be doing well doesn't matter.
Well, Shad, what is the core of Superman in your opinion?
I've mentioned it many times. I've mentioned it in the reaction. I've mentioned it in this trailer as well. Superman represents the indomitable.
Indomitable.
The paragon. The great ideal.
Yeah, you're wrong.
That we would
Yeah,
want to
that's not what the character
to.
is.
Right?
That's just a feature of the character.
In victory.
How is Superman an exemplar we're supposed to aspire to? None of us have his fucking godlike fucking powers. It's supposed to be maybe aspirational in that look at even this godlike man can be virtuous.
Yeah, the core is what we can aspire to be.
That's more of the core than just he's indomitable. Him being indomitable is why he has to have good ethics.
Exactly. His indomitable nature is his goodness. That's what the fact is, ultimately.
Yeah.
That aspirational image is now trying to pretend that I haven't even defined it, and I've been pretty clear about it, even if you're lacking the ability to understand
Saying all these elements are tangential, that's not important. But like you're describing his relationship with other people, his interactions with the world.
No, I have mentioned specifically how he presents himself as Clark Kent and if his father is going to be alive.
No, you didn't mention that, Shad. You never mentioned if his father's alive. I mentioned if his father's alive.
Yeah, you never said which parent you thought would die either. You just said, some adaptations kind of kill off one of them. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah,
that's all you said.
Yeah, that's the funniest part.
And then he said the parents are tangential to Superman.
Yeah, so he's so full of shit, he doesn't even know what shit he's gargling out.
He would not be Superman without being raised by his small town, wholesome, good ethics people, farmer parents. Like, like, everybody knows that. That's, like, one of the basic things people know about Superman.
This is the funniest thing in the world. He so doesn't get it. That's great.
Those are the points that I've mentioned as a reference to the tangential things that are separate to the core. Pretty clear and obvious that's what I have said. But
no, it's not. You didn't say it.
Trying to construe that and completely lie about what I said, that I'm talking about how he interacts with people and who he is as an individual. That is not even close to what I'm saying.
You're talking about all the elements of his character that are core to his character.
No! That is not what I mean. I literally said it. It's amazing.
Reflecting of the core of his ideas. But you're not describing what Superman is yet.
I've done it multiple times. It's fun. Again, it's the dishonest argumentation that you regularly see from the left.
So his argument from the left. He's the one making it about politics.
Yeah.
You didn't say any fucking thing about politics. In fact, you are aggrandizing Superman being raised by a heterosexual couple with traditional values.
It's too fucking funny. It's too fucking funny.
But it's
then is going to be
woke.
dishonest and lie about it. Is saying Shad.
We do have to
he
get
hasn't
through
even
this
defined
faster
what
because
Superman is.
we've been taking forever.
Shad is talking about.
Oh,
you
we're
know,
gonna do a part
it doesn't
two of
matter
this,
if
right?
Superman's personality.
Yeah, right.
I'll be saying that is one of the most important things to get right. But I was trying literally. It's unbelievable, disingenuous, slimy tactics, and then of course the undermining the credibility. Even though he's acknowledged my credibility and agreeing with multiple things, Shad doesn't even know anything about the character. This is almost a masterclass in an example of how people on the ideological woke left argue. And
You wouldn't say
He
woke.
said it. He said
he
woke.
said the
He said
word.
woke. He couldn't help himself. He said woke.
He said the word.
interacts, and it's just like I predicted that this is really seems to be the type of stuff that's the way that he's going to be addressing myself in the arguments.
Then comes the part where Shad became irrationally angry about Krypto the Superdog. Like, just watch. I won't spoil it for you. Yes, Krypto.
Okay. So
Here we
it
go,
seems like he loves
Krypto.
I've already said I don't like it. If you like him, that's fine. I think it's dumb. I'm interested if how much he'll latch on to me that I just don't like Superman if I don't like Krypto, right? So look, he's taking particular issue with this.
Yeah. What hurt you as a child? Seriously, what hurt you?
If you don't like Krypto, you have something wrong with your child.
Okay, I thought he actually thought your joke was funny.
Yeah.
Obviously, you did the little like Gendo Ikari pose for dramatic effect. That was clearly a joke, man.
Yeah, it's clearly me goofing on you, dude.
Jesus.
Oh, I want to see if he takes it fully literally, though.
Hope that he's just doing this as a joke because even some people in my own fans like, Shad, you just don't like dogs, and they're doing it as a joke,
Okay,
right?
okay.
But
Okay,
really
I wonder
he
how far
has to know it's a
takes it,
joke, please. Look at a dog being amazing in a cape and not love that.
Easy, because it's friggin' it's dumb. That's why.
Now, what you might notice here is that Shad really, really, really loves using the R slur. Trust me, he says it a lot. Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
Including him in the film is not going to attract the normies or the wider audience.
You think putting a dog in front of your trailer is not going to attract a wider audience?
Yeah, now, this is an argument I'm open to hearing, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misunderstand how much people love superpowered dogs in superheroes.
Yes, obviously.
But I don't think a lot of people watched. There's actually a Superdog is called Underdog or something like that. I don't think a lot of people watch that. I don't think a lot of people watch Super Pets. There's an animated film with DC superheroes in this.
It did pretty well, actually, financially.
Yeah,
for the
actually,
budget.
an underdog is a completely different kind of character than Krypto. You fucking idiot.
Yeah,
He said the R word. Can't I, Anthony? No, I'm kidding.
I'd rather you not. I'd rather you not
Can
say
I
the
get one?
R.
He said it once. Can I get one? No.
No, I'm sorry. I
won't.
that's not a word I like. I'm sorry.
But yeah, but it's not that it's a superpowered dog. It's just a pupper. And again, having Krypto in the movie shows us that this is not going to be an angsty deconstruction. Not at all. How could you have an angsty deconstruction in a movie with a superpowered pupper?
Oh my god. It's so funny because it's like, no, he's using an example of a film that actually did quite decently, all things considered. Maybe I'll check the budget, actually. So,
Yeah, and the fucking Krypto cartoon was good. And that's the other thing. Shad, superheroes are for children.
yeah, ultimately speaking.
We have had some more teen and adult-oriented superhero stuff, yes, but primarily, especially when Superman was made and when Krypto was made, superheroes are for children. And I said in my react, I was like, are you not excited to bring your children to this movie? They'll probably like it.
Okay,
But just the fact
so
he's like, just the fact that he thinks a dog won't attract the mainstream audience.
okay, so here's what it was. So on a budget of 90 million, it grossed 207 million worldwide. Not a massive hit, but it's still and it's
Made back its money, made a profit.
made a profit, made its money back and more. So it succeeded. So financially, hey, Super Dogs, Super Pets, Krypto, box office money.
The Super Pets, okay? All right? I have points of reference where just the fact that it's a dog in the film doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the main selling point for people liking it. I think, look, I'm happy to
I
acknowledge
never said it was the main selling point, but I said it was a selling point.
I've seen so many people say, like, I had a friend who wasn't interested in the trailer until they saw Krypto and was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Because again, people are fucking tired of the deconstructed Superman. And seeing his red undies and seeing the pupper tells people right in the trailer this is not going to be one of those movies.
don't, okay? And for those people that like dogs so much, like Krypto, okay, it does seem like that they like the film more because of that. But on
I
the
don't
other side,
trust a man who doesn't like dogs.
Agreed.
Happy to admit, maybe I did over-exaggerate my perspective on this. That I
Yeah.
said
Yes.
Good.
people generally
You
are not
admitted
going to
it.
respond positively to that. That seems to be incorrect. And I will happily acknowledge that. See, when you place an actual argument, all right, I'm willing to reflect. This is something I'm willing to do. I rarely see people attacking me.
Oh, he has
like,
to
you know,
make it
Anthony
about
Irving.
himself.
The thing is, Shad,
I'm willing to reflect by saying maybe I was a little exaggerated as a grown man being mad about a super dog.
probably because my argument was so simple and so small in terms of what I had to say, that even he couldn't
understand.
cut around it.
To actually acknowledge when, especially when they're called out and lying through their bloody teeth, they always dodge the issue, okay? They seem to have no shame of how dishonest.
Now
and,
he's
and
theying you based on what he perceives your thoughts to be, based on you possibly being the kind of leftist he doesn't like, though he doesn't even know that.
Oh yeah, and the funniest part is I just have the video playing alongside it, so I can tell you whenever you cut out my bullshit, because I can point out my bullshit back to you. Two can play this game, Shad. I can edit things too.
even though it's so clearly,
this is live. No editing here.
Call them out blatantly, right here, as I've been showing. Okay, but even though there's a lot of people like dogs, no, I still have the opinion, but perhaps I could be swayed on it. Give me evidence for it, right? I don't think Krypto is going to be the thing that's going to sell this movie to the wider audience. I consider myself a big fan of Superman, yet I can also.
You haven't read the fucking comics?
Is that the arbitrary standing point? If you haven't read the comics, you can't be a big fan of Superman. Nonsense.
How can you be a big fan of Superman? You don't read the comics.
Again, arbitrary standard, and now it's trying to latch onto. And I predicted that.
Yeah, that's a fair thing to
You
say.
don't even understand the core of the character. All you say when people ask you what's Superman, you go, indomitable. When
Indomitable
that's
spirit.
really, like, it's not that he can just beat up any bad guy. That's not why Superman is good.
Yeah, if Superman just beating up the bad guy was the only core appeal, then Spawn would be the most popular superhero of all time. And the Punisher.
Maybe he should read Preacher.
Seriously. Oh my god.
Because I haven't read the comics, that's going to be a means to undermine my credibility. I can't be a big fan now because I haven't read the comics.
But, the fact I made a Rama video undermines my credibility, according to your logic.
Of course, I read some. Haven't read them all. Not by a long shot. It's like, if you want to change fundamental things about the property, I generally take that as evidence to show that you don't actually love the thing if you're wanting to change core aspects of it.
What are they changing about the property, Chad?
But in terms of have you consumed Christian anime, that's nonsense, okay?
He's not going to have an
How much
answer
actually
for
love the
that.
character? How much has it really affected you in your life and things, and how much you want to, respect?
He's not really
the source
saying
material,
anything
to acknowledge
right
that there's a lot of goofy, dumb crap in that old stuff, okay? And including it is not a win.
Chad, let me ask you a question.
Hang on. What I said, is that wrong?
You want to
There's a lot of
change the
goofy, dumb
source
crap in the
material.
comics, and not necessarily that shouldn't be adapted into more serious works.
How is Krypto? How is Superman having a pet dog who happens to have superpowers a bad thing?
I don't feel it necessarily fits with the relationship.
Yeah, sorry.
He's saying, this movie wants to change the source material, and then he's just shitting on things from the source material.
Exactly. It's like one where he's saying, we can't change anything. Next thing, the source material's terrible, it sucks.
There's all that dumb and stupid crap in those old comics. That's the source material, you dumb motherfucker.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid.
Truer adaptations of Superman, I think undermines a lot of things, because Krypto is insanely powerful. It's got the powers of Superman, essentially, okay? That's almost world-destroying power. Like, Superman should be using Krypto all the time then. He'd be his main sidekick. This is incredibly, dogs can be trained. Can be trained really effectively.
So right now he's saying source material is so important, and then he goes on a tangent about how bad the source material is. Like, that's how his logic makes no sense internally.
How is James Gunn changing the source material by going so far back to the source he put in Krypto the Superdog?
Exactly. This is ridiculous.
Krypto seems to be pretty obedient.
This is so dumb.
I also think it's dumb in terms of, I already have, trouble. Subjective thing, but I already have trouble swallowing the fact that Kryptonians look exactly like humans. They're aliens. I think you can kind of justify it with maybe convergent evolution, stuff like that. But then to say like, they also have dogs that look exactly like human dogs, or everything from a completely alien environment, it's like, no.
None of this matters. I don't care.
He really does hate everything about Superman.
Yeah, it's like he hates the Kryptonians.
Like,
he
all
hates
Kryptonians
Krypto.
look exactly like humans. They need to explain that. No, they don't. It's 1950s sci-fi logic, you dumb shit.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be realistic. People are sick of realism.
Yeah, just have fun with it. Just go with it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the fact is that he's going on these tangents about how much he loves Superman, but then criticizes everything but Superman being powerful.
He just can't go with, like, fantastical logic. He just can't.
He has to have everything explained to him.
Why do the Kryptonians look like humans? Because it was written in the 1930s, okay?
Yeah.
That's why.
And even if it wasn't in the 1930s, Star Wars, tons of humans there. Doesn't take place on Earth. Of course, that doesn't matter to him, apparently. But, whatever. Who cares? It's just fun.
I can spend righteously so much, and then when you want to double whammy, it's like, it's not happening. It's not happening at all. Now, there perhaps is a way that you could justify it more logically. Instead of Krypto being from Krypton, that is a dog from Earth that somehow gained Superman's powers. There are some instances where Superman powers have been somewhat transferable in certain adaptations and stories, and I could accept it better then. Okay, but a dog from Krypton, that's just a nonsense silly thing. And then, of course, there's the issues of his existence in the world itself.
Hi. I just want to interrupt you for a second to point out something that Shad doesn't seem to understand about Superman lore. Pre-Crisis, yeah, Krypto was from Krypton. However, post-Crisis Krypto is actually a genetically created animal made in a fake Krypton meant to ensnare and manipulate Superman. But Krypto survives the events, comes home, and lives with Superman because Superman adopts him. He's not actually from Krypton, is my point. They made him in a lab.
That's my answer. Yes.
How do you not get that people love dogs?
I obviously understand that. The fact that I think Krypto is dumb, right, is not me saying that I just can't understand people like dogs.
In this
No,
movie.
I think that's a issue to if it works in a story or not. Sometimes the inclusion of dogs works really well. Reference Mistborn, there's a wolfhound in Mistborn, integrated perfectly, justified. Love it. Okay, it's a dog that talks as well, by the way. It's how execution. I do not see the execution.
Had to bring Mistborn into it, apparently, which makes...
He said he likes a talking dog and something else.
Yeah, Mistborn, which is a totally different kind of universe.
Well, I was just saying, Green Lantern's in this fucking movie, and you're saying it needs to be more grounded and not have a flying dog?
Yeah, but the problem is he's applying hard magic rules to Superman.
To Superman, who is like weak to magic, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But also, Shad, since the Lantern Corps is in this new universe, I hope Dex stars in the next movie just to annoy you.
Yes, please. I would love that. Love it.
Krypto ever have been done.
But anti-joke's going out, so...
Or a way that wasn't stupid.
Why would a superhero having a pet be a bad thing?
I've just explained.
Superman...
But it's funny, he seems to think like...
No, he didn't explain.
I just explained, and what I explained is it's dumb.
His explanation is just... First off, his explanation is not in the video. Second off, his explanation is why a dog with superpowers doesn't make sense, not why a superhero having a pet doesn't make sense. So you didn't even answer the question. Yeah, so it's a completely different line of questioning.
It would be impossible to have my opinion. My opinion is utterly ridiculous, the way that is reacting. How could you possibly think that?
Your opinion is utterly ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's a complete arbitrary standard that you're just pretending is, the thing that obviously everyone would naturally understand and agree
so
with.
mad.
Yes, it is ridiculous.
He's so upset.
Shad, let me talk to you directly right now. Nothing you ever say can convince me that what you're talking about in terms of Krypto is not ridiculous. There is no amount of logic in the world that you can apply to the situation that would make me think your argument and your reaction to Krypto the Superdog is anything short of the dumbest fucking thing I've seen all day. No logic, no coherency, nothing. Because your hyperbolic reaction, and yes, it's hyperbolic, not hyperbole, is so overblown.
I was going to say you mispronounced it, Anthony.
No, hyperbolic is the right word in this case. I watched Dragon Ball Z.
Hyperbolic.
Hyperbolic, of course. Your reaction is so overblown that's the point I'm finding ridiculous. Not the logic. It's the search for a reason why to justify it is that I find more ridiculous than anything else.
Well, he didn't mention it in the react because I did make the point. I was like, well, Superman's an alien who looks exactly like a fucking human, so why are you bitching about a dog? You know?
Mm-hmm,
but
exactly.
I guess it also bothers him that Kryptonians look like humans. So again, do you actually like Superman?
Exactly. Like, it's a world where none of those questions actually matter. Because it runs on the imagination. It runs on silliness.
There's a lot of people who think Krypto's dumb.
Is a guy who runs around in primary colors.
Wow, he's doing this argument. It's like, because there are unbelievable things separate to the dog, that means you should just accept every other nonsense. This is so the type of thing. It's the exact type of criticism where people try to deflect the criticisms of Star Wars because it's a story about space wizards meant for children. It's exactly that argument. This is a nonsense argument. There are, of course, fantastical, non-realistic things that are justified in the world building and make sense with the adaptation, and think that just because that's there doesn't mean all nonsense can easily be accepted. Stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. And he's doubling down into it.
He's a stranger from...
Yes, absolutely. And that's not an unreasonable thing. Like, it's not just...
It is unreasonable, Shad. You're being fucking ridiculous.
He's a stranger from another world. That is all the world building Superman fucking needs, man. Not everything has to be like fucking Game of Thrones ass world building.
Exactly. He's trying to apply Brandon Sanderson level world building to Superman.
Even Brandon Sanderson would disagree with him.
Yeah, because Brandon Sanderson has the idea of soft magic. Which
Brandon Sanderson knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, and Brandon Sanderson also understands that not all worlds have to make logical sense. It's just, it affects the way you interpret the text.
A world needs to have internal logic.
Yes, that is true.
But it doesn't have to be the same logic as the real world. As long as you have internal logic and believability, you can do fucking anything in a story. And that's the great thing about fantasy stories.
I'm sorry. Halfway through what you're saying, I looked at the screen and looked at Chad's face.
Oh my god, he's got the Senpaku eyes. Look at this dude.
I'm sorry. This is just too funny.
He's so pressed right now.
He's so angry about this. This is really fucking
He
funny.
wants your blood, man.
Maybe I should challenge him to a duel.
You should go down to Australia and duel him.
Yeah, seriously.
I think you've got like 1 foot on him.
Right?
It's a dog with superpowers, with a cape, and Superman's powers that comes from Krypton. It is a silly nonsense thing. I don't want little Superman shooting out of Superman's palms either. That was in the old school comic books. Thanos' copter. I don't want that adapted perfectly because that's a silly dumb thing. There's lots of silly dumb things. But it's just so funny that Anthony is like, look, Shaq, I can't believe you accept this bit of nonsense when you expect this. So it's basically either undermining everything is nonsense, you accept it all, or he's trying to present everything that is silly and nonsense is completely valid and equivalent to all the other stuff that makes more sense. Stupid. Stupid.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm asking myself that too, Anthony. Like, the fact you can't get this is bizarre.
Oh my goodness. And here's the thing too at Krypto. He is not
He's
showing
like
up.
getting red in the face.
He's so...
He's like seriously getting red. I was half expecting him to just like croak and fall over like a Monty Python skit.
I mean, I'm getting red in the face too, but for very different reasons. Oh my goodness.
He's gonna have a freak out like this in the original video too.
Yeah, and like the thing is, he's dropped the R word so many times in response to me laughing
Even
about
I
him.
don't say it that much, man.
Oh yeah, but the thing is also he's out of anger. That's the difference too.
Yeah, he's trying. He wants to say like the strongest possible word he can say to show how mad he is at you. You can.
Yeah.
He did say it earlier in the video too, so you can tell he's like actually mad right now.
Which is so fucking funny. Over fucking Krypto, the Superdog.
Krypto. Jesus.
It's a dog with Superman powers. It's
Look at
goofy
him,
as
he's
shit.
so
That's the
cute.
point. Like, it is silly. That's the appeal. It is a silly idea. That's why people like it.
And again, he didn't want another angsty deconstructed Superman, and having Krypto the dog in the trailer shows this is not going to be an angsty deconstructed Superman. Again, I've had so many comments on my video reacting to him of people saying their friends were won over by the trailer as soon as they saw Krypto.
Right? It's just... It's
Because
just
it's like, this isn't going to be one of those movies. This is going to be like a fun movie. Hey, we're not going to go into the movie feeling goddamn fucking miserable the entire time. Amazing. It's actually going to be entertainment.
Right? Like, I find it so fucking
And that's the other thing he doesn't
funny.
understand. Like, Chad, this movie doesn't exist to fulfill your power fantasy. This movie exists to entertain people and make money.
100%. It's just a goofy, fun movie, and it's just appealing to a wider audience with a silly
Sometimes
dog.
goofy can be great. It's some of the best fucking movies ever made are goofy as shit. You know?
Mm-hmm. It's just too funny. It's just too funny.
Live action Superman movie to this point.
Yeah, good. He's done.
This is the first appearance of Krypto, and already this gives a distinct tone to the film.
And I think it's an incorrect tone, okay? If you like it, all power to you. But the fact that,
Incorrect-
it seems like Andy's trying
you
to
didn't want a
present the
deconstruction.
tone as objectively better or superior as a result. His subjective taste on the tone is better than my subjective judgment that, it misses the mark. No, what is, these are, and
I never said better. I said different. I never said better, Shad. You said better.
It's also a complete indication of what he wants out of the goddamn movie, what he says he wants.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually want the core back to basic Superman. He just wants Superman beating up the bad guys and being cool and badass and unstoppable. That's what he wants.
Exactly. He seems to hate
So yes,
the
you
original
do
Sorcerer
want
Supreme.
Superman to be a Mary Sue. 4 hours later, Shad, you still just want Superman to be a Mary Sue.
If his core trait is just being unstoppable and all-powerful, then yeah, he just wants a power fantasy. Just with the serial numbers filed
He doesn't
off.
even mean indomitable. He means insurmountable.
Exactly. Indestructible, certainly.
we'll find out when the movie comes out. See which
Invincible.
one works or not. Who's right or not.
When it comes to James Gunn and animals, you know he's going to do something really good.
No, you don't. That's not a guarantee, okay? Not everything James Gunn...
Every single animal
Rocket!
James Gunn has written has been great. No
Rocket
exceptions.
Raccoon, you
Gunn makes is
fucking
gold.
idiot.
Yep.
Krypto is also a really well-liked, iconic character.
No, a lot of people would, agree with me that it's dumb. At least it's not saying everyone. At least it's not painting a completely...
All my
younger
friends
audience.
agree with
And
me that
you're
it's
gonna wanna
dumb.
make sure-
Right?
Also share the references. I don't trust him as reliable sources.
Also, I said among younger audiences, you cut me off halfway through, so already it's like, okay, Shad.
Krypto is also a really well-liked, iconic character among younger audiences. And you're going to want to make sure that you attract more people than just the adults.
Okay.
That's the mentality Shad's embodying here.
No, that is clearly not the mentality. Strawman again.
Having the greater world of Superman's universe makes him interesting. It's a positive, not a negative. It's a
No, it depends on execution, how it's done, and there are things that absolutely do not work with a more
Look at
serious
he's
realistic
like
adaptation.
hiccuping. He's so mad.
feature, not a
Yeah.
bug.
Here's the thing. He said he's such a big fan of Superman, but then Just Right says, no, we don't want more of the Superman universe in an adaptation.
Yeah, he's like, I'm such a big fan of Superman. I just hate all the dumb, stupid things in his comics.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm coming from a perspective of a comic fan. There's gonna be things in the comics that you don't like that I think are really good, and he's so pissed
And
about it.
he's saying it's changing the source material when it's adapting the fucking source material that he doesn't like.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to show you what I said originally. I think this speaks for itself. He has no actual argument.
Am I the only one who thinks Krypto is a dumb thing?
Yes.
Oh, really? Yeah, bullcrap. No, there's heaps of people that hate Krypto. When you're adapting it, you kind of would want to...
I thought he was drinking alcohol there for a second.
He's putting himself in a position of authority to speak for everyone now. He's like, I'm the only one.
Oh, he's getting all
Am I the only one?
fucked up on
Because, yes, I'm
water
the only
right
one
now.
saying it.
He is so angry that I have spoken about 15 words in the last 10 minutes because he keeps talking.
He's like hiccuping. He's got snot coming out of his nose. He's so upset.
Over fucking Krypto the Superdog. Oh
The
my
only one who's
god.
like, which is just objectively false, right? It's a lie. And this just shows you how blatantly dishonest people on the left are willing to be just to try and dunk on the opposition. Okay?
He's making it
it's
about
like they have
politics.
no sense of
He's
dignity,
making
right?
getting
They'll
politics into
happily
Krypto the
lie. And
Superdog.
honestly, anyone who
Well,
will
he's
push
like,
Anthony...
at the beginning, he was like,
obviously have to
people
acknowledge it. And if he does, he
don't like me for my politics, but now he's making it all about politics when you didn't even fucking bring them up.
I haven't mentioned his
It's just like,
politics
this
once.
guy's a leftist, so he's automatically wrong about everything.
Yeah, I don't think I've mentioned his politics at any point
You
in this
haven't even
entire
mentioned
video.
your politics.
Exactly.
He's the one who keeps bringing it
That's
up.
not relevant to anything we're talking about.
Talking about Krypto the fucking Superdog, and you're bringing up all those woke leftists.
Basically, yeah, right?
lying and he doesn't care about it, which is a very just like mask off thing about the quality of his character. He's willing to lie and be happy about dishonesty blatantly, knowing that people know that he's lying, right? If he was to do that. Because an honest person, on push will obviously have to acknowledge that, of course, there's a good number of people that don't like Krypto. Okay, a lot of people agree with me. It's literally comments and everything.
This is so fucking funny.
Direct example of people agreeing that Krypto is dumb, but I'm the only one.
Shad,
right?
please
And
keep
isn't
doing this.
exaggerated
This is
hyperbole. He's
great.
just trying to put himself in a position of authority to represent
I
and
hope he
spew things
replies to
dishonestly,
mine.
and try
I
and dunk
hope
on what
he
he
does.
perceives what seems to be an ideological
Yes,
enemy.
this
I'm
is
still we're not going to
fantastic.
have Superman shooting little Superman out of his hands. That's something he could do from the OG.
Yeah, from the Silver Age.
Oh, so now this is too dumb. Oh, if I go,
Having the greater world of Superman's universe makes him interesting. It's a positive, not a negative.
then I give an example. I was
dumb.
like, oh, but no, and so now it's completely backtracking and contradicting what I said before.
Comics, yeah, but we're not talking. But this is still Krypto isn't just.
We need to go back. He literally said, including things from the broader Superman universe, right?
Having the greater world of Superman's universe makes him
You didn't let you
interesting.
make
It's
your
a
point.
positive, not a
Yeah.
negative.
Nothing you're saying contradicts what I said. That's the problem with not listening to a full statement.
Oh, except if it's from the Superman. Exactly, right? You're full of crap, Anthony. Come on. This is just
Hey, I never said it was bad. I'm saying that it was not old.
laughable, where you've proposed a standard, okay? And then later I share an example that contradicts that standard, which even he seems like he can't go that far. And they're like, okay, yeah, he seems like he's agreeing with me that there's some things in Superman that, yes, the broader Superman world, right?
think
Going
I
all the way
agree
back.
with you there.
I never excluded that, and he didn't exclude that.
Glad
when
I
he was
hope he
trying to
makes
say,
a super cake.
no,
I hope he makes a super cake with his super cake making powers
Please.
just to piss you off.
Now, here's what my point was, Shad. I think even I expected you to figure it out, but I guess I have to explain it again to make sure it's nice and slow for you. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, Superman's power set changed. The Silver Age Superman had different powers than Superman does post-Crisis. Krypto the Superdog exists both pre-Crisis and post-Crisis. That means not that something is dumb, but that something is inconsistent with the version adapted in different eras. That is the point I was making, Shad, that I
God.
even assumed you could figure out.
Having the greater world of Superman's universe makes him interesting. It's a positive, not a negative. It's a feature, not a bug.
a Superdog. Come on, am I the only one who thinks Krypto is a dumb thing?
Yes,
and
you
when you're
are.
adapting it, you kind of would want to avoid the dumb stuff. We're not going to have Superman shooting little Superman out of his hands. That's something he could do from the OG.
Yeah, from the Silver Age comics, yeah, but we're not talking. But this is still Krypto isn't just a Silver Age character. Krypto is existed into the modern day because Superman having a dog is fun. Krypto is just a dog with superpowers. That's not too strange in a world like the DC universe, where there's a Red Lantern cat, you know? Actually, if the Lantern Show has the Red Lantern cat, I'd be really happy about that. But yeah, no.
All the stuff, right? But now it's like, even that's too far for him.
Never said that. But this is still, Krypto isn't.
Clearly, I was talking about that. And I do conflate Krypto with a similar type of thing.
He doesn't even let you finish a single sentence before he just starts raving like a maniac.
Yeah, it was just funny because he doesn't get what the fuck we're talking about.
He's so ass mad. My God. Dude, everybody please, everyone who's around Shad, stop being so diplomatic with him. He needs to be told how lame he is, please.
He needs
for his own sake.
Some people, listen, sometimes people just need to get laughed at. I'm very
sometimes
sorry.
Sometimes you gotta be straight up with people. Sometimes mockery is healthy.
Yeah, listen, it's not about anything he can't control. None of this is anything that we're laughing at is things outside of his control.
I don't know if he can control this behavior, I'm not sure.
This is all purely just how he is.
They're going to be there with him. And now I'm at a point where it's okay to start to be condescending and belittling because I'm just an idiot and I don't understand. All right? Where so many arguments, especially the primary criticism.
Yeah. How many times did you call me the R word again, Shad? I don't think I ever called you the R word. Which one of us said that? Which one of us said that?
I would like to call you the R word, but Anthony won't let me.
Yeah, I'm actually don't want Shad to say that. But like that's the thing. Like you're saying, oh, he's calling me an idiot. Like I will, because you opened the door to that conversation. Hey, listen. If you can't dish it out, if you can't take it, don't dish it out. You know what I'm saying?
Justify Kryptonians look exactly like humans, but I can kind of justify maybe conversion, evolution, justification for the story.
Shad, don't think of it like that.
No.
He's so fucking stubborn.
Okay, I'll give him that. That was a pretty funny response.
That was good. I'll give him that.
Checkmate. This isn't even an argument. You're just saying, I have authority, so stop doing the thing that I think you
ruined it.
You ruined it. Come on.
No, you killed it.
If he had just said no and moved on, that would have been fucking funny.
So much
but no,
funnier.
he had to ruin it.
Yeah, sometimes, again, like Doug Walker, sometimes going on a little bit too long kills the joke.
And maybe it probably wasn't a joke, though, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Also, Doug Walker at least can tell a joke.
And so there's going to be a scene of Krypto dragging a broken and defeated, half-dead Superman.
Yes, he's a good boy. That's why.
No, I'm not criticizing the imagery that evokes about Superman. And by the way, he said before that...
You were criticizing the imagery!
You literally just criticized it, dude.
Yeah, because he says, that they open it up with him being broken, and now a stupid dog is gonna drag him through the snow all broken and battered. You are criticizing the image, because imagery is all you have here.
Yes.
It's a trailer.
Yeah, there's nothing else. That's it.
You see Superman,
right,
there's no
power
other
through
point
it.
in the film.
Sorry, we got this. We got this far. We'll get through it.
That's what we want to see, right?
Yeah, we do want to see that.
I don't want to see it. Okay, and look, I think I can go too far to speak.
What's the matter, Shad? Are you the authority, and everyone else should see?
What are you gonna do? Cry and scream and shit your pants? Yeah.
Apparently so.
Everyone's thing, right? I do say it's going to be about how they execute it. From the trailer, isn't what I wanted to see.
People love stories involving dogs.
So therefore, if it has a dog, it's just a good story. That seems to be what you're implying, which is nonsense.
I'll tell you, Call of the Wild. People don't read that because they want...
Yeah, there are also stories with dogs in it that people hate. By his logic, is saying because there are stories with dogs that people like, that then means this is good. That is...
But then your logic there is that because people hate stories with dogs in it, that means it must be bad. Your logic is ridiculous.
What is he? He's not even saying anything.
He just wants to contradict what I say, but none of it actually means anything.
The nonsense, retarded vein of thinking. It's like me saying, because there are movies with dogs that people dislike, this is going to be bad. I never said that, nor would I, because it's a stupid way of thinking about it. What I'm saying is that it doesn't work specifically with what we're being shown at the moment. And I give objective, clear reasons why I don't think it works.
He's gone for 30 minutes about the fucking dog.
Objective reasons. He has stopped saying subjective.
Just be honest, dude.
From here, we entered the part of the trailer where Superman started doing cool things. And Shad, you would think, would be really happy about this. He wasn't. In fact, I think this is where he started to lose it. More so than with Krypto, I know.
That's the Superman, right there. Yet, we get only a glimpse of it in this teaser.
So wait, Shad, are you under the impression that the movie's just going to be Superman being awesome with just being broken?
Did I say that? I said, this is the type of stuff I want to see. I think it's safe to say that this is the type of stuff that most, Superman fans want to see. That seems to be the sentiment.
Pause for a second. Pause.
Yeah, go for it.
He's like, he's like, we only get a glimpse of it in this teaser. Yeah, bro, you answered your own question. It's a teaser. It's teasing you to go watch the fucking movie to see more of the awesome stuff.
It's like yeah, we're gonna show you the whole movie in the trailer. No, please don't. Actually,
it's like it's marketing to get your ass in the movie theater within the first 2 weeks or something.
Absolutely, it's this scene
we
specific.
got so much trailer.
Anthony's going to be interesting. It's going off on another Strawmen.
Is that your perception that it's just only glimpses of it?
No, that's not what I said, genius.
You just said it was a glimpse of
You
it.
said a glimpse. You literally said glimpse. This time you literally said the word he's saying.
Yeah,
you said,
right here.
Chad. Oh my god.
Doing what he does best.
Right here.
That's the Superman.
Right here.
Right there. Yet we get only a glimpse of it in this
Yeah.
teaser.
So wait, Chad, are you under the impression that the movie's just going to be Superman being awesome or just being broken? Is that your perception, that it's just only glimpses of it? They have to build up to the Superman being incredible because it's a trailer building a sense of triumph. And also keep in mind that the trailer's about halfway through. Yeah, see? Exactly. So his point is moot. They have to build up to the Superman being incredible because it's a
No, they don't have to, actually. They don't have to do that. You can open with that.
trailer.
If you want, but I'm not saying they should necessarily. But again,
They could do that, but they chose
He's just
not
mad
to.
that they didn't open with this shot that just made him cream his pants.
Yeah, it's more effective if you build up to it. Like it's
Again, the whole point of opening with him getting pummeled into the snow is making you go, whoa, what was that? Is that Superman? Why is he all beat up? What's happening? What could have done this to him? Holy shit, I gotta watch the rest of this trailer. Oh, wow, trailer, cool. I'm gonna go see the movie.
It gets your attention very effectively. Oh, it's so dumb.
universe.
You don't even understand basic visual storytelling.
No, you
No,
don't have to.
no, he doesn't.
Again, Anthony, a writer would know this, that there are multiple ways to write a story and make it work. All right?
Yes, they are writers. They are multiple ways. to
Yeah,
tell a
you don't
story.
even know how this story is gonna be written. You're just making a bunch of fucking assumptions based on like 1 minute of carefully selected footage put in order to get people interested in going to see this goddamn movie.
Yeah, the problem is, as a writer, you should know there are multiple ways of telling a story.
But even then, this trailer has visual storytelling in the way a trailer does. Because again, opening shot, Superman in the snow. Holy shit, what's going on? Oh, this is a James Gunn movie. Oh my god, there's a dog in a James Gunn movie. You know, it is telling you information. It's getting you emotionally invested, or at least it's meant to. And again, that's the job of a fucking trailer.
Exactly. And the thing ultimately is this. Yes, there are multiple ways to tell a story, Shad. Why then are you saying it has to be told in one way?
Yeah, why are you saying this way is bad?
Yeah. That's what it comes down to. It's strange. There's multiple ways to tell a story. Yes, that's true. So why are you saying it's the only way of telling it?
His problem with the opening shot is just that Superman was injured and he's got this whole... Because he went on the whole, like, woke left bullshit thing a minute ago when you didn't even bring up politics. It was just him going, they're trying to make men look weak. Big, strong men like me.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
So childish.
All right. Let's keep going because I think we can get through
Usually
this
something
next
that I would
hour if we keep this up.
give as a criticism,
Yeah.
but he's the one that brought us in that direction first, and so I'm just holding him to his own standards there. He considers himself a writer. Why is he saying nonsensical things that a competent writer should be aware of? Like, you have to build up to these things. Not necessarily.
Shad is conflating the intimacy of the character with weakness.
Bull crap. Absolute nonsense. The intimacy, the character, the weakness. This is just absolute dishonest crap. There's no point in the trailer where I can conflate that and explain that
Say the
in any
R
way.
word, but not
He's just now
bullshit.
making...
Let's take a look right here. Where do you conflate it? Let me find right here. You conflate these components right here when the trailer starts with him being weak. You have the emotional vulnerability of him breathing over these scenes. You have a sequence where you show him holding his arm around his father. You say it's tangential. You make fun of the scene where the dog is with Superman. In fact, every scene you really conflate the idea of vulnerability with weakness because Superman is vulnerable in the entire first half of the trailer. And that is what I'm talking about.
Wow, geez, it's almost like Superman is physically invulnerable, but emotionally vulnerable.
It's crazy how that works.
It's almost like that's his fucking character or something.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolute madness. I don't believe it.
And again, the emotional vulnerability is positive masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Which he doesn't get, 'cause
100%.
he likes toxic toxic masculinity, which is like, no, I'm a big, strong man. I'm big and serious and stoic all the time. Look at me with my dragon statue.
That's why he has to yell all the time. If he was confident in himself and a real like masculine perspective, he wouldn't feel the need to yell. He'd be able to calmly assess it and go, okay, hey, here's what I think. He wouldn't have to bark so loud.
He's had several right on mantrums here.
Yeah,
Jesus.
over Krypto the Superdog. It's just screams of insecurity if you have to yell over someone. Yeah, yell for comedic effect.
That jacket also screams of insecurity.
The jacket's fine. I'm not gonna make fun of the jacket. I will make fun of his.
He just needs a gold chain to go with that.
I will make fun of the jacket. I'll make fun of his tantrum, certainly. Him pissing and shitting himself on camera to sound big.
Yeah.
Speaking up trap to lie about me. This is nonsense.
By his definition.
Give the definition. Where's the example from the video? But it's not going to do that. Again, this is a strong.
I just gave an example. And he's not saying it directly, but he's kind of brushing in broad strokes.
Oh, I see. He even acknowledges that. I didn't say it. I didn't say it directly because I didn't say it. And if you're paying attention to what I was
so mad.
Yeah. As I said, in the thought that you're arguing, you would know that if you listened to a sentence before you interrupted it.
Saying, I'm not implying it either. But now he wants to spin some bullcrap, warped it to twist his narrative. And it's so funny that even he is, has the slightest bit of self-awareness that he knows that I didn't say this. And he's kind of hedges that so he doesn't look like, come off like a complete and total fraud. So it's like, oh no, this is how he's implying it.
Rushing in broad strokes, what we just saw, all of it is Superman being broken. All of it is Superman being weak.
No, because I do say.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, if he finishes the sentence, I'm like, yeah, you do say he looks broken and weak. That's the whole trailer, dude. You made fun of comic.
I've never seen him get this red in the face, even doing his sword bullshit.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Hey, it's not all of it. I said most of it, and that this is what we want.
When in actuality, a portion of it is Superman being hurt. That we know he's going to struggle, that we know he's going to face adversity. But we also end the trailer with Superman triumphant, and that is what's so important.
There's something at the end of the trailer, towards the end, not at the very end, that I found, quite a miss.
Yeah, he ends the trailer flying
as well.
We know.
And so just like, oh, it ends right. I disagree.
And as the music swells, we see bigger and bigger acts of triumph. It's been...
Yeah.
With a sense of strength and power and excitement for something incredible.
I don't think that's exactly what it is. I think there are a number of moments where that building up to the triumph is undermined by the other focus in the trailer about him being not only defeated, but also there's something at the end.
The problem is Shad's conflating, the most of the teaser was this. Yeah, it doesn't matter if most of the teaser's that.
I'll need to rewatch it, actually, to get an objective how much it focuses on him being defeated versus how much success.
Why
it's 50%.
Didn't you rewatch it before this?
Actually, I say specifically in the trailer, I say in this video how much there is, actually, right here. I give you a number. You just talked over it.
Driving very big.
Also
protect the innocent.
Well, wait a minute, though. The scenes of him in the snow are one scene. They're two shots taken from one scene.
Exactly.
But we see so many different other scenes.
But even then,
from different parts of the movie.
But even then, right here, I answer his question. He's ignored it.
A trailer building a sense of triumph. And also keep in mind that the trailer is about halfway through. We've mainly seen a few shots of Superman being hurt. Right here. Exactly what you just said. Shots of Superman at this point being a human. Like being...
Yeah, see? Exactly that. He cut around it. And then act like it never presented
Superman's humanity is core to his character. Like I said earlier, he would not be Superman if he wasn't raised by Ma and Pa Kent.
Exactly. It's just too freaking funny.
How do I understand this character better than a self-proclaimed Superman fan? I'm not even a Superman fan.
I know, exactly. It's just too funny. It's just too funny.
Because when I say it's like we see him defeated on the snow, that's not most of the trailer, okay? But there are moments where he looks depressed and people are criticizing stuff like that. And if we look at just what the tone is versus the triumphant tone versus the negative tone in the trailer, it might be most that is more negative. But I need to rewatch it, double check.
What note it ends on? Because that's the thing you're going to take away with you when you finish the trailer.
No. Like, just the way it ends doesn't redeem it if other parts in the trailer misses the mark completely. Not at all.
You're going to not take that away, though. The last shot is what you take away from the trailer.
Elements like this, right, in the film, good. But it also indicates that this might not necessarily be the primary focus. That they want to deconstruct a defeated Superman.
Shad, do you not understand how adversity works in storytelling?
Because that's clearly what I said. Really.
Yeah, it is.
I said already at the beginning that you can absolutely have Superman challenged and defeated. I'm saying, what is the primary thing that I want out of the Superman film?
Yeah, but the problem is every time there's any adversity that he faces, you complain about it. It doesn't matter what you said before. Because you can say that once. It doesn't matter. Because you keep criticizing when there's adversity.
Actually, I was about to say he was the kid on the playground going, "No, oh, I got a shield, Infinity +1," but he does that in his stupid sparring videos too.
You know what though? He would be the kid that, and when you play rock paper scissors, would pull Gunn.
But Strawmen wants
What a novel! You should know this.
So I was like, oh, you should know this. All right, see, I want to try and now undermine my credibility. So if you want to play our game, right back at you, mate. You've made
You played the game first. In terms of the chronology of this video,
bafflingly stupid comments about storytelling. That is just complete nonsense. So don't come at me with like, how this is writing. Oh my gosh, when you clearly have a
it's so fucking funny.
very flawed understanding about what can be achieved and done in a story, and that doesn't necessarily need to be always done the way that you are saying.
Okay, wait, pause.
Let's do it. Yep.
He's saying you have no understanding how to achieve things in a story when he is bitching about everything this story is like executing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the funniest part. Everything he's saying is just talking about himself.
He's like, you can't have Krypto because Krypto's dumb. But what if in the execution they make it work? You even conceded that could be possible. You can make a Superdog work. Like again, for James Gunn made people cry over fucking Rocket Raccoon.
Mm-hmm. And
that is the power of cinema.
And the problem is he's taking it so fucking personally. It's just so...
Yeah.
It screeches of insecurity.
But again, he doesn't like anything about Superman. That's the most confusing part. The only thing he likes is that he's super powerful. But that's not what... That isn't even the most important part about the character.
Yeah, everything else he calls tangential. It just demonstrates he doesn't understand what drives the character. He just likes the power fantasy of it.
If he had come to Earth as a baby and was raised by like fucking Lex Luthor's family, which is probably an AU somewhere, he'd be a completely different person.
Yeah, 100%. Or even Red Sun, you know? But again, is meant to push against your hero.
Never said it so. Once again, this isn't me. This isn't me. My argument is talking. You just imagine a straw like skin suit wearing Strawmen right there. Just a mask of my face with straw in it. That's who is talking with right now, not me.
That's not true. Your wife's face was not it.
I had to.
Couldn't resist. Sorry, but no. Like the problem is everything he's described is against adversity, but because he didn't say the word specifically, that means that he didn't actually say it. He can say every other word that means the statement, but as long as he doesn't say the word adversity specifically, then it's totally fine. Even if I'm not saying that specifically, he will isolate a single line where I say it just to make it sound like that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he just goes, no, I didn't say the exact word.
Yeah, this is like the most... Meanwhile, he goes on for tangents, breaking up sentences until the audience doesn't even know what I said because he's broken up the one sentence into like, I don't know, bite-sized chunks over the course of 10 minutes.
Like, he lets you say 2 words and he goes on a tangent just assuming what you're going to say.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And then he cuts out the rest of it.
Yeah. So what kind of argument is that, Shad? Are you so afraid of my argument that you won't let me play the entire statement before responding? It's foolish. By saying the movie is just going to be Superman crying for like an hour.
Because that's what...
Wait, what did he cut out there? I'm curious.
That they want to deconstruct a defeated Superman.
You're right there. Shad, do you not understand how adversity works in storytelling? You wrote a novel. You should know this. Adversity is meant to push against your hero. It's meant to make them struggle so that when they finally succeed at the end, they are all powerful. They have transcended. By saying the movie is just going to be Superman crying for like an hour or broken for an hour is foolish. It's foolish, dude. Like, it's ridiculous.
Also,
you're just you're making
the only adversity.
Yep.
The only adversity the character in his book faces is feeling really bad about all that rape he did.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny, all of this he cut out, like right here. The whole movie's gonna be 2.5 hours of Superman crying in the snow. No way, dude.
Because that's like, isn't that just been the trend lately?
Right here's what it's funny too.
They all want to deconstruct the classic hero. But how about you exemplify the hero? Focus in on what made us love this character, this concept, the aspirational, indomitable icon of justice, there to set an example, and to...
Shad, what the fuck are you talking about? That's what they're doing. You dumb person. Okay, Okay. How do you watch a trailer? I think I have.
That's what I said. Bull. No,
yeah,
that wasn't. I never said it like that. Do you see the lying, scummy, dishonest bullcrap?
God.
He's exaggerated so much. He's got to the point where he's trying to summarize my criticism, and
And
I've
this is
said
crazy
that the
because we
entire
haven't
film is
sped
going to be
up.
this. This is
God.
nonsense.
Right?
By saying the movie is just going to be Superman crying for like an hour.
Never said that. Didn't even imply it. Like, sorry, because I mentioned that you can have Superman defeated and everything, and that there might be good parts of it.
Chad, that was hyperbole.
Yeah, Shad, that's what we call hyperbole.
That I've complimented, and I even said, look at this, they're clearly going to have these heroic moments in it, which I like. So clearly, even in the broader context, I'm not even implying that the entire thing is going to be about Superman being broken and defeated, because we're looking at the heroic moment right now. But he's such a lying, dishonest guy that he wants to misrepresent me completely, because he can't address my actual arguments,
By saying the movie is just going to be Superman crying for like an hour
which I never said or implied at all.
or broken for an hour is foolish.
So he's not addressing me at all. It's foolish. It's nonsense. It's like, man, if someone, said that, perhaps it might be, but that's not me. I didn't say that. These woke activists, dude.
It's foolish, dude. Like, it's
You're
ridiculous.
a woke activist
See, that's what I told you,
now.
then.
Woke activists for saying
You're a
this is dumb.
This is why he brought up your Ranma video.
Yeah, he
So he
can't.
could justify saying, "Oh, he's just a crazy woke leftist activist."
Mm-hmm.
What is you being an activist about saying, Shad? You don't fucking understand Superman or basic storytelling.
Yeah, because you've demonstrated,
You're
That you
talking to him
don't know.
writer to writer here.
like demonstrably, you have shown that everything you've
Shad.
said is a projection of what you're saying.
Shad, we are talking to you as creatives. Nothing
Yes.
else right now.
Seriously, dude. This is really dumb. Like, this is the most ridiculous, most pedantic, most immature, most insecure response I've seen in a while. And the only reason it's taken this long to respond is because you say new bullshit every 3 seconds that merits a response.
They want to, depict their ideological opponents as foolish and ridiculous, and so they need to remake their entire arguments into something that is retarded, something that they never said, I never said, and attack that. It's a common
You're making it about politics.
Yeah, seriously.
bloody tactic, because they can't be honest.
Yeah, no, the whole movie's going to be 2.5 hours of Superman crying in the snow. No way, dude.
Yeah, I never said that, you freaking I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. And that's
How many times have you said the R word in this video? I'm counting
He
about
just said he
17,
said it
15.
like the 10th time and says, I don't want to say that, but I've
Yeah.
gotta because I'm just so ass mad.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very funny.
Dude, I don't like when I say it, I do it kind of casually, and it's mostly just to fuck with the Zoomers. But like, bro,
Yeah, no, this is the case where he begs, he really wants to say it because he has nothing else he can say. The reason he wants to say it is because he feels so otherwise impotent that no other word will matter.
I'll apologize because I would like a way to try and approach people who are ideologically opposed to get along. But when I see someone as far gone as Anthony, which is just so blatantly dishonest and misrepresenting me, my knee-jerk reaction is to just call it as I see it. But that just ruins
you're
any
so
possible...
far gone because you don't think Krypto is dumb.
We're going to call it as we see it, though, Shad. Okay, Shad.
Yeah.
I'll
oh my
call
God.
it
He's
as
the
I
kind
see
of
it.
guy who says, "Oh, I'm just calling it like I see it," and then you insult him and he does this.
I'll call it. Okay, Shad. Do you want to play that game? We'll play that game. I'll call it as
dear.
I see it. I see someone who can't handle when someone disagrees with them. Someone who yells and screams and cries and pisses themselves on camera like a little tiny infant begging for mother's attention. What I see right now is someone who thinks that they're so big and so tough. But when it comes down to it, when you get the slightest pushback, all I see is a spineless little wimp who has to cut around a statement to make a tiny point that ultimately speaks more about their own argument than anyone else's. And look, I didn't have to use any big boy words to say that statement. Don't worry. You can save them all for yourself as you cry and shit your pants.
You see, people think I'm the edgy one, but Ant will go scorch fucking earth on you.
So, there you go.
chance of reaching across the aisle, but I don't even know if it's possible with people like this, who is just so happily, dishonest and doesn't care about it. There is no dignity here with the way that he's approaching this argument at all. But he doesn't care about being an honest, person that's addressing what I'm saying. Because that's isn't that just been the trend lately, where they all want to deconstruct the classic hero? Seems to be a common thing. But how about not everywhere? You exemplify the hero. Focus in on what made us love this character, this concept, the aspirational, indomitable icon of justice, there to set an example, and
Shad, what the fuck are you talking about?
it's pretty damn clear. So now he just wants to try and, instead of even attempting to understand what I'm saying, he's just like, oh, you're an idiot. You don't even what it's very clear. You don't need to have much intelligence to understand what I'm saying. I'm saying make the character with those things that we love about that character.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we love about that character is his indomitable virtue,
Now you
paragon of
did.
justice.
Yeah,
Give
yeah,
us that type of
exactly.
Superman. That's not hard to understand. That's what I'm saying. But he's like, what are you talking? It's so nonsense.
That's what they're doing. You dumb person.
No, they're showing quite.
Yes, they are doing it.
Yes.
Chad, you're being fucking stupid.
Like I said earlier, the undies in Krypto unironically show they're not doing an angsty deconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite in the show.
Listen, okay. How do you watch a trailer that brings Krypto the Superdog into it and go, yeah, this is deconstruction, this is...
By seeing the other things that are deconstructing him. He's trying to say, oh, because it has Krypto, the times that, and it's a warning sign. It makes me concerned that they're going to be deconstructed. It might not. We'll have to see. Okay, but it's trying to say
very
that all those other
deliberately
concerns in the
telling
trailer-
us it's
no,
not
no,
going to be a
because
deconstruction.
Yeah, it's like it's like...
I mean, for God's sakes, the Clark Kent looks like Christopher Reeves. They are telling us this is
100%.
going... Every single frame is telling us this is going to be classic Superman.
It's just, and it's so funny because, like, he doesn't even seem to ever explain what a deconstruction even is. How does a deconstruction function? How does a deconstruction work? How do you understand what is being deconstructed? What components of Superman is being deconstructed?
No, he thinks deconstruction is just big man look weak, big man have emotion.
Yeah, and in this video I
That's what he
detail...
thinks it is.
Exactly, and in the video I'm talking about, I describe what a deconstruction even is, which is, I think you'll probably skip over because you can't actually argue that point.
Are you that dumb? Are you that dumb to think that because as Krypto, the other things that show them potentially deconstructed Superman just don't exist? That seems to be what his argument is.
They don't exist. You
They
make
don't
them up.
exist. The rest of the trailer is Superman being awesome.
Not saying
Oh, I think he skipped past a few things, didn't he?
Oh God, again.
Let's find out.
Yeah, the other reason this is taking so long is you keep having to call out his bullshit of like cutting up what you said and ignoring your point.
Exactly. By saying the movie is just going to be Superman crying for like an hour or broken for an hour is foolish. It's foolish, dude. Like, it's ridiculous. You're just you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Yeah, no, the whole movie's going to be 2.5 hours of Superman crying in the snow. No way, dude.
because that's like isn't that just been the trend lately, where
What?
they all want to deconstruct the classic hero? But how about you exemplify the hero? Focus in on what made us love this character, this concept, the aspirational, indomitable icon of justice, there to set an example and to...
Shad, what the fuck are you talking about? That's what they're doing. You dumb person. Okay. How do you watch a trailer that brings Krypto the Superdog into it and go, yeah, this is deconstruction, this is tearing down? That's not what this is happening. Deconstruction is when you take the themes and ideas of a narrative to examine how they work. You know? Deconstructing does not mean bringing down. It means taking apart. It's not necessarily a negative. You can deconstruct something positively. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way is a deconstruction of Superman. But it's also a story that ends with Superman being at his most triumphant and his most impactful for society. You get a strong sense of why Superman is so important by the end of that story. The fact that you think it's like some weird nonsense is baffling to me. This is not deconstruction. This is simply put, reconstruction. James Gunn is taking a character who has been deconstructed multiple times, that being Superman, and showing why Superman is not only important for today, but he's always been important. Why do we need the Superman? Well, here's why. This one shot shows this is not a deconstruction. This is a reconstruction.
to serve the people in whom they can help because they have such tremendous power. But instead we only get a little glimpse.
The whole rest of the trailer is Superman being awesome.
Lex.
Yeah, so there you go. He cut all of that out because he couldn't argue against it. Calling me this sniveling little leftist when meanwhile, he couldn't even address the point I was making with
He can't
actual
be
citation.
honest. He can't be honest because he's a leftist, and he just cut out like all the context of what you said.
Yep, with multiple examples citing what I was saying, backing it up. Just off the cuff. And this is in his recording, don't forget, this video he's responding to was done live. I did all this off the cuff.
Yeah,
He
you edited
this.
You edited this, Shad. You
only-
had plenty of opportunities to think about your argument.
The only editing I did to this video was putting images on associated with the words I was saying to further enhance the meaning. But the words themselves, off the cuff, spur of the moment.
Yeah, that's what all my videos are. My edits are just me elucidating my points and cutting them down to sound more intelligent, and and just putting visual aid there to emphasize what I'm saying.
100%. 100%. It's very funny how everything he's saying is so fucking impotent.
Being people like that are showing here. That's what I'm saying. All right, and it's not Superman being awesome in the whole rest of the trailer, by the way. There are moments where it's like there's a monster outside, and from every assumption she makes, it's killing people, and Superman is
God, it's that
Yeah, but it hasn't
fucking
gotten to that
serious.
yet.
Superman being awesome.
I
So
can't
he's
wait to see his
objectively
reaction to
false
that.
in how he's presenting the rest of the trailer.
Now, there's a part of the trailer, if you're watching it, where you see in the background is a big radiant ball, and there's a laser beam that seems linked to that ball. It's uncertain what's happening here. There's a lot of theories. Could be the Green Lantern, could be Mr. Terrific restraining something, could be a monster coming in. It could be anything. We really don't have a clear idea, and the context isn't quite there yet. So we don't really know what's happening. But Shad, I guess he must have talked to James Gunn himself, because he seemed to have a perfect understanding of what's happening. And he made sure we knew exactly what he thought was going on.
This,
Here we go.
again, I think it's another scene that is missing the mark, where I explain. See a monster in the background. I hope you can prove to me you can do this. Show let's
Double
see.
Shad
These people
rage
hearing me
right
explain
now. I can't wait to see
why
the
I don't
double
like it, why
rage.
this is like, and see if he can
Double
understand.
fisting
Does he have the
Shad
capacity?
rage.
Wow, he's like boosting himself up here. It's like he's amping himself up to his past self.
Look, his hair is getting all out of place. God, he's so upset.
It's
To engage in an
hilarious.
argument honestly and address my true reasons and not make a straw man. Let us hope. Let us hope that he can do it. We'll find out. Let's see. And from all I can assume is that it is actively killing people right now. Right now.
I can assume that. We know it's in the sky. We don't know what the context is. This is
Yeah, I say we don't know the context, but it's a safe assumption that this is a death ray monster killing people.
How? How is that a safe assumption?
How?
How?
It's a ball. There's a beam.
It glows?
There's glows. There's like weird, like
he
flaky light
thinks-
sparks things.
He thinks the beam is shooting out from the ball when it's clearly the beam is connecting to the ball and probably containing something. It's probably either Solaris or some shit Brainiac's doing.
Exactly, or Lex or anything like that. But I think I'm still
That
amping on
could
Solaris.
be fucking miniature Krypton for all you know.
Exactly. And the thing is, look at the city landscape. There's no fire. There's no explosion. There's no smoke.
There is
It's-
absolutely no indication that thing is kaiju stomping millions of people right now, as he claims.
Exactly. It's just he's
if it's doing
overreacting.
that, it's like safe assumption that it's not doing nice things to people, right? That's not a.
How would you know that? There's no physical sign of damage.
No indication at all that it's damaging anything.
Yeah.
We don't even know what it is.
Oh, Brother Eye, it could be. That's another good idea too. I didn't think of that one. Thanks.
Oh,
that's a good
Brother
one.
Eye. Oh,
That's good.
Yeah, they were doing some deep cuts in this movie.
Yeah.
So who
I didn't even think
knows?
of that
they're
one.
using a lot of lesser known heroes, it seems. Which
Yeah.
again, James Gunn known for doing that.
Exactly. But that's good. I didn't think of Brother Eye. That's really clever. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
unreasonable thing for me to assume. That's what I'm saying. But it's like, oh, we don't know the context. You shouldn't assume that.
There's clearly like a moment of intimacy
Yeah.
before Superman goes fight.
Really? Well, my issue, right? I think Anthony's just trip up once again. But in this one, it's a good way because by saying that
Sure.
this is a moment where an intimate moment between Superman and Lois before he's about to go and fight. My issue is if people are dying right now, Superman wouldn't be waiting. Okay, he'd be going out straight
No
away. He wouldn't let people
indication.
act.
Yeah, he wouldn't be waiting. So that's probably why he isn't. You know, that's probably not a life or death situation. It's probably why he's not bursting out of that window right now. You fucking idiot.
I think this kind of indicates the problem with Shad's
I
response
don't know
completely.
why he assumes it.
He
I don't know why
assumes
he
so
assumes
much.
that thing is. I mean, when he saw the promo shot, he also assumed it's a monster. So we happened to see 5 seconds of it in the trailer. It was like, oh, that thing's obviously kaiju stomping the entire city, and Superman's just ignoring it.
Exactly. The problem is that we see a ball in the sky. It's in a bubble, it looks like, and there's sparks coming around the bubble. There's a beam.
To me, that looks like something being contained. So, like,
Yeah,
well, when I first saw this, I was looking at it through his video. So I said, maybe that's some kind of holographic light show, or maybe that's like a hologram in the window. But then I got a better look at it. I was like, okay, it's obviously containing something. Maybe that's miniature Krypton. We saw a guy who looked like he could be Brainiac. Maybe that's some other hero's powers.
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck that thing is. It's obviously
something.
a plot point.
It's going to be a big deal when it
They're
happens.
not going to tell us what it is in the trailer. It's there to stoke our interest. It's a teaser, like you said. It teases you to get you interested.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, we don't know what it is entirely, so we can't make assumptions that anyone's in mortal peril right now. It could be mortal peril tomorrow if that thing breaks out.
Someone in chat says, I'm going to see this movie just to see what this jellyfish thing is.
Yeah, right? Oh, God, imagine if it's like the squid from Watchmen. That'd be terrible. I would hate if that's the case.
Actively dying at this moment. Just having to
Alan Moore would be pissed.
That gives him it makes him look bad. It's a bad look on him, right there. That's my criticism. And I think it's funny because Anthony seems to acknowledge, though, that he needs to go out and fight this thing. He needs to stop it, which means it's doing bad things, which validates my criticism as to why...
Not necessarily. It could do bad things.
That might not even be what the danger is. He might be like, Lois, I have to go do something, so goodbye. I don't know. We don't even know what the conversation they're having here is.
And I'm seeing chat mentioned in Super Chat just from Miss Jasmine pointed this out too. Thank you, Super Chat. That it's probably the chat is saying it might be Mr. Terrific's force field.
Well, yeah, we've seen Mr. Terrific in the goddamn movie, so that would be obvious.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. I thought also maybe Green Lantern, but Mr. Terrific's force field makes just as much sense.
Yeah, well, the pinkness makes me think it's not Green Lantern.
True, but those sparks are a little green.
It does have a little bit of teal and green. Maybe multiple heroes are containing something with multiple powers.
That could be it too.
Again, we don't know what this thing fucking is.
Yeah, it's too early in the narrative. We just know it's important, whatever it is. But the problem is Shad thinks he must be one thing, therefore he has to act like it is that one thing.
They're not going to tell us what it is because it's a teaser. They want us to go pay to see the movie, stupid.
Exactly. And it may need to be stopped, but it might not be an active threat at this moment because it's contained. So there you go. Again, he's acting like it's a gotcha, but if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you realize it's not. So what are you going to do?
This is not working. In this very moment, it's shooting a laser beam.
How do you know it's shooting a laser beam? It looks like the laser beam's being shot at it, like to hold it back, basically.
Oh, is like, come on, dude. No, it's clearly coming from it. But that is going to be...
How do you
know it's not coming from it?
No, it's not clear.
But I think it's a very fair and safe assumption to assume it's coming from it, that it's facing the direction, seemingly, because it seems like it has this, a focus light. It's like a...
No, it doesn't look like it's shooting out from it at all. The way it's shaped, the way it moves.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it's shooting out from the ball. It looks like something is shooting into the ball.
Yeah, like look at the way it's shaped, like has a buckle outwards. And then down into it. It doesn't look like at all like it's being shot out at something. It's not an even buckle.
And it's very calm looking.
Yeah, it just stays stationary.
There's going to be an eye on one side. And the fact that it's slightly angled,
it's like
slightly angled a little bit in that direction, in the same angle of it, because it's got whatever tendrils coming off, which shows that's facing it a bit.
Those aren't tendrils, those are like sparks.
Yeah, they're like little electric sparks. He doesn't like fucking like... I played the clip like twice in slow motion in my cut just to make very clear how that thing moves.
Yeah. It's bizarre what his argument is. It doesn't make any sense.
Indicate that it is angled in the direction of the beam, which indicates coming from it. That's right.
Also, we don't know the context of the scene, so you don't know that for sure.
I think I say that, but I say I need to assume. I'm perfectly allowed to assume.
You start screaming that it's killing people.
Yeah, like he acts like it's a guarantee that it has to be a certain way.
He acts like it's happening in real life.
Yeah. Also, he says it's facing a direction. How does he know that? There's no fucking face. It's a circle.
In the context here, it's not good for Superman. It looks like people are dying and doing nothing.
What's most likely happening is there's something restraining it, like maybe Green Arrow's lantern.
Most likely, not from what I see it. We'll have to wait.
Yeah, most likely. You are the only fucking moron in the universe who thinks this is a kaiju.
Going to defend anything, any possible criticism, just to be, contrarian at this point, because he can't.
It's not being contrarian, just saying we don't know what it is.
Because we don't. You are making like the most stupid assumption about what this thing is. You think there's like absolutely no evidence that it's harming anything at the moment.
Exactly, it's ridiculous.
Like I said, my first thought was shrunken. My first thought was small Krypton and Brainiac. That was my first thought. It might be Mr. Terrific now that Miss Jasmine pointed that out.
Yeah, the point is we just don't know, but it's something that's restraining it for now. It looks like because
no. My assumption that it's shooting something is more likely, and even if it doesn't end up being the case when it's
More
released,
likely
from
just
the context of
cause.
what we were shown, it's
Oh, I love that. I'm more likely to be correct, but if I'm wrong, then it's bad because it didn't show it right.
more
The
likely to be
context
If it's not
is
the
not that
urgency,
it's killing
there's probably a reason
anything.
for that.
Why do you...
There's nothing's on fire. It's totally fine. No one's running. There's no buildings that are exploding. There's no
It could
damage
be
to
an
buildings below it.
advertisement. Maybe it's an advertisement blimp in the future. You don't know.
Yeah, we know so little about it in the plot.
Maybe, and I'll happily know that, but the trailer, I'm criticizing the trailer that they don't share that, and as a result, this looks like Superman doing nothing while people are dying, and I don't...
So wait, we
They're
don't
not
know
gonna tell
that.
you exactly what it is. They want to stoke your curiosity and make you go pay to see the goddamn movie.
Wait. So Shad's saying we don't know what it is, therefore people are dying.
What logic is that? If we don't know what it is, therefore
So
my
fucking
wild
stupid.
conclusion I jumped to is correct.
Oh my god.
And they could have shared any bit of context to try and explain it in the trailer. And I'm hoping
Why?
we'll have
It's
that
a
in the
teaser.
movie, absolutely.
It's a trailer.
We're giving
reason,
no other
though.
context to, nothing. I literally say in the case that, it's not a death ray, it's just scanning people, okay?
Why do you assume it's doing it?
Because that's the most common type of thing when you see like a laser beam / death ray in a comic book movie. Safe, most likely assumption is that it's not nice. It's a perfectly
But
valid.
it's
and
not doing anything damaging.
Yeah.
There's no indication that it's doing anything damaging right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
None at all.
oh my god.
logical thing to assume.
How do you know it's not restraining it? That this whole big
How do you know that it's not killing people, Anthony? The exact same. Oh, you don't know thing
Because there's no fire on the ground.
can be flipped up on you. Oh, just up to your own stupid standard, mate.
circle
It
is not
doesn't
like a
even look
containment
aggressive.
field. Like Chad's like, what's the context of the scene? Well, maybe watch the movie and find out what the context is.
Yeah, well, you're assuming things as well, and I do say we'll wait and find out. But for context that we're given in the trailer, it looks bad. That's what I'm saying.
But
Maybe
the only
context
thing
is
is, Anthony isn't definitively saying what it is.
Yeah.
You are.
Even like-
Anthony's saying we have to. It could be this. It could be that. We don't know. You have to wait and see. And Chad's like, no, it's definitely killing people.
And even then, I say right here that he's gonna see if he responds to it.
But it's not killing people, Anthony. The exact
Right here.
same. Oh,
Hang
you
on.
don't know thing can be flipped
He
up on
included
you.
this
Oh,
part
just up
for
to your own
some reason.
stupid standard, mate.
Circle is not like a containment field. Like Chad's like, what's the context of the scene? Well, maybe watch the movie and find out what the context is.
Yeah, well, you're assuming things as well, and I do
Right
say
here.
we'll wait and
Right
find
here.
out. But for context that we're given in the trailer, it
Finish
looks
sentence.
bad. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the context is terrible. I don't know yet. Haven't seen the movie.
But then it's trying to say my assumptions on it are completely unfair and invalid.
You have to still be wrong,
Judge the trailer based
though.
on what they present in the trailer. Lying right now.
You don't know that.
I'm allowed to assume it because they haven't clarified otherwise. Mate.
Oh, he cut out most of his rant. He cut out
so
most
therefore
of
I'm
his
allowed to infer
rant.
context by what they're
Right.
giving us. And he's even said maybe it's terrible. Yeah, so I might be right.
Fucking talking about.
What are you friggin' talking about? You didn't acknowledge
Wait,
that.
go back to your video
This
at
is
that
what it
point,
does look
though.
like from my perspective. And,
What's up?
Go back to your video at that point because people have to see his whole
Oh,
unhinged
it's
rant.
so
He cut out
great.
most of it. He
It's-
just put in like the last
He
shriek.
was like, you're
It's
not
so
getting
great.
me there after what you've already shown. Nothing indicates that, oh, it's not a death ray, it's just scanning people. Okay? When
Why
you
do you assume it's doing it? How do you know it's not restraining it? That this whole big circle is not like a containment field? Like, Chad's like, what's the context of this scene? Well, maybe watch the movie and find out what the context is. Maybe the context is terrible. I don't know yet. Haven't seen the movie. James Gunn hasn't invited me to his secret lair to show me the movie in this way. But, like, we don't know that. We don't know what the context is yet. But we're going to find out.
see a monster like that shooting a laser beam, you assume it's killing people. And instead of not hesitating, saying, I gotta save people, Superman is actively letting people die just so he can have a lovey-dovey moment with Lois Lane.
We don't know if that's even an attack. It's probably a containment field containing the actual enemy. Shad's making a lot of assumptions about a scene he has no context for, and is making a whole big rant about something that to me looks like someone is firing a beam up at a monster and containing it. Maybe the other superheroes are fighting, he's having a moment to suit up, and he's just having a moment of intimacy before he goes out and fights, presumably possibly to his doom. Renaissance. Strange that he cut that part out. I don't get why. I don't know. Weird. It's nerd. Thank you for Super Chat. People always get mad at trailers for not showing context when they're too conservative, and then get upset when trailers spoil too much. Yeah,
Strange
I'd
to
rather
cut all
not
this
know
out.
what's happening in the scene from the trailer. I just want to get snippets of it because it's the trailer. If I want to know what's happening in the movie, I'll just watch the movie. The trailer's supposed to make me excited for the movie. and
Strange
it's
that keeps
working.
happening.
It's working.
Exactly.
Right? Look, yes, good, he cares for Lois Lane, but seriously, people are dying! dying right now.
You don't know that. You don't know what the context is, Shad. What are you fucking talking about?
People are dying right now.
You don't know that. You don't know what the context is.
That's just the point I wanted everybody to see.
Yeah, right.
He's like, oh, he's just still gonna go. People are
dying.
We
dying.
can let a couple hundred. Well, another 100. Yeah, that's fine. I need to focus on No.
Pictured, a man gets angry at absolutely nothing. A problem he's invented in his own head.
No. Right.
He cut all that out.
He cut so much of this out.
I wonder why. He
Can't
must know
imagine.
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, seriously.
Clear example where I feel this is missing the mark completely about who Superman is, what we want out of a Superman movie, and it makes me concerned. More.
Okay, so Shad
Shad,
thinks that Lois and Clark
you know the
being
difference
together
between
is
reality
missing
and
the mark of
fantasy?
Superman. It's so fucking goofy.
He's like, people are actively dying right now, right outside, and Superman's not doing anything about it. It's like, you're 6 years old. It's like, okay, little Shaddy, this movie's too grown up for you. We need to bring you home and give you a juice box.
It's just so funny because he spent so much time ranting and complaining, and it's like, dude, you cut out half your argument to hide the fact you made a ridiculous argument.
You had a man-baby meltdown over something that isn't even, like, there's no reason to think it's even happening on screen. There's no reason to think anyone's dying right now. Why do you think this?
It's just too funny. Oh, God.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm allowed to criticize because they didn't share anything else to clarify the movie, and it makes me concerned.
Right there, see, it's where we left off. Okay, so Shad thinks that Lois and Clark being together is missing the mark of Superman.
No, you stupid idiots. That is not what I said at all. I know, look, yes, good, he cares for Lois Lane, but seriously, people are dying right now. He would not just like, we can let a couple hundred, well, another 100, that's fine. I need to focus on No, right? Again, another clear example where I feel this is missing the mark completely about who Superman is, what we want out of a Superman movie, and it makes me concerned.
So he literally said he has to
Very
kiss Nog Lois,
concerned.
and that's missing the mark. I say...
I think he accidentally said that, but yeah, it's really funny.
I don't think he meant to say that, but he still said it,
No,
and he
but
kept
he
it in the
did say
video.
it.
That was an edited video, not a live stream. He could have done a second take if he wanted to.
Yeah, because, I mean, you misspeak on a live stream. It happens.
Oh, yeah. But he could have done a second take. Just chose not to.
I said that the times, moments in the show where it shows that Superman either being broken, defeated, or not doing what you'd think Superman would do in the given, moment, makes me concerned that the movie's going to be bad. I hope it's
Oh, that's what you said? That's what you said, Chad? Is that right? Let me double check that, Chad.
is actively letting people die just so he can have a lovey-dovey moment with Lois Lane.
Hey, Chad, what was that again you said?
Otherwise, mate.
You don't know what the context is, Chad.
Yeah, so therefore I'm allowed to infer context by what they're
Talking about.
What are you friggin' talking about?
Your inference is
I'm allowed to
fucking
criticize because they
stupid!
didn't share anything else to clarify the movie, and it makes me
here's
concerned.
it.
More.
Okay, so Shad thinks that Lois and Clark being together is missing the mark of Superman.
No, you stupid idiots. That is not what I said at all.
Is that what you said?
I said that the...
Let's play that again. Because Lois and Clark being together has never been a big...
Oh, that's what I'm saying, you freaking moron. Come off it. That was Shad saying, Lois and Clark being together is a bad thing. You disingenuous loser.
Superman's getting cooties. This is terrible.
Letting people die just so he can have a lovey-dovey moment with Lois Lane.
I don't have to say anything anymore. It's just funny as shit.
Really, I don't... This is why I don't like making these videos. I don't like trying to make people enemies. But honestly, dishonesty needs to be called out.
Angry at something, that's not even a problem.
That's not what I'm angry at. Gosh.
It's ridiculous.
No. What's ridiculous is the fact that you can't
It's so
even
fucking
understand
funny.
an argument.
What do you think we're
It's
doing right
kind of
now,
obvious.
bro?
It's so fucking funny.
So much now, it does come off as intentional. That this wasn't an attempt to try and engage in an honest, nerdy discussion, between two nerds that like Superman, right? This was an attempt to try and clout chase and
You
dunk to
poisoned the well from
get
the
off what you're trying
beginning, bro.
is misrepresenting me constantly.
I just wanted to
Just
talk.
because it thinks, I'm ideological opponent, and he wants to make himself look smarter. But dude,
I
you're
just
showing
want
how
to
much-
talk, and then he slashes your tires in the parking lot.
So what? It's supposed to be a solution. He's gonna
As
do
he's
that.
slashing
But,
them.
These seems like moments that might happen much further into the Superman story. Now, remember, Anthony said that the rest of the trailer shows Superman being awesome and triumphant.
We also end the trailer with Superman triumphant, and that is what's so important. Yes. And as the music swells, we see bigger and bigger acts of triumph. Yes, as the music swells, Lois and Clark being together is triumph. The music swells here. whole rest of the trailer is Superman being awesome.
Yet we're towards the end of the trailer, and this is not a triumphant scene right here. Okay, Anthony was really clear about, it started with him being defeated.
We don't know what's even going on here.
Yeah, and it's still jumping between broken and sad Superman and struggling Superman. So it's not doing what he was proposing. It's doing, but he's completely unreliable in his depiction and analysis of media, and time and time again, this is validated and confirmed. Right here, contradicting how he was.
Yes. You're proving so reliable, Shad.
God, it's like he's gonna reassure himself.
Is it him being awesome?
Yeah, he's talking to himself more than anyone else.
Now there's let's deconstruct Superman, have him defeated, have him think that he's going to lose everything. That's not the right way to introduce the beginning of a new arc.
You don't even know the context of this image.
Right? But it's funny is I actually detail what I think the context is in a way based on just purely the costume design. Adversity, isn't it?
Anthony, where did I say that Superman shouldn't have struggles and adversity? I'm saying that at the beginning of a new kind of arc of Superman, this is, again, at the beginning of his story. I feel it is wrong to begin it with, having him defeated and broken, deconstructing him, and all that. I think, all right, no, you can introduce Superman, do it in the way...
That's the trailer, bro. It's not the whole movie.
The problem is every single time Shad sees Superman facing adversity, he complains. You don't say the words.
We don't even know the context here. He could be fixing his robot friend for all we know.
What I think is happening, and I think it's based in the costume, because later on we see Superman have this little patch of grit on his chest. I think something he encounters a failure in the Fortress of Solitude. He comes back because later on he has the soot all over his chest when he's walking through the population. I think that has to follow that. Something happens where he's dragged to the Fortress of Solitude, maybe by Krypto. It's a disaster. He gets back home. And I think it's a tied together a couple of scenes, but I'm not sure.
Oh, geez, you mean something might happen in the second act that seems like the lowest point, and then the hero triumphs?
Right? I know.
No one's
shocking.
ever done that before.
No one has ever. It's radical, I know, but trust me, I think it might be the case.
That's not how you tell a story. A hero just has to be unstoppable.
Right?
What I'm saying, but at no point in this do I say that he can't struggle. I say at the beginning of my trailer reaction that you can have Superman struggle, but presenting it as the first thing in the trailer for me was a big miss. Him being battered and beaten snow might work in the context of the film when it happens, but leading with it in the trailer, for me, set the wrong tone for it completely.
That is his problem.
Anthony has taken that to mean that I don't think Superman should struggle at all, which is a interpretation of what I'm saying. All of these.
Is it though? Because every time you see him face adversity, you complain.
Yet your problem is the first image of him struggling. That's your whole fucking issue here, bro.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad at a certain point. You
it's
can't
a completely, like I said earlier, it's a completely unremarkable thing in the trailer. It's a hook.
Yeah.
They use that scene to get you don't know it's a Superman trailer immediately. You see something explode, gets your attention. You look up at the TV screen or your computer screen. You see Superman on the ground and one of the most recognizable characters in the world. And it's like, oh man, Superman's laying there in the snow. What's going on? What's this? What's this new thing I'm being shown?
Exactly.
It's all there to stoke the interest of the audience and get them to see the movie. They're not going to tell you the whole fucking story in the trailer.
100%. And the problem is that he can't take any disagreement. He keeps saying, oh, I wish it was just some nerdy conversation between guys. Yeah, but every time someone disagrees with you, you have to yell about it. You can't.
Yeah, right? You were like that dude nobody wants to hang out with in the comic shop.
Yeah, he's just so angry about all this shit, man. It's just it's a fucking movie. Chill the fuck out. Movies. Do you think Superman just have no troubles at all and everything should be fine?
Never said that, genius.
Giving Superman adversity to overcome is what makes him interesting.
That's one aspect that can make him interesting, not the thing that makes him interesting. Superman's indomitable power also makes him interesting, Anthony. Now,
the problem is how... Okay, listen, Chad, even going from your logic, which I think is dumb, but let's go with it for a second, using your terminology. How does one demonstrate being indomitable unless they're confronted with something that can push them to their limits?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If someone just breezes through everything, that's not being indomitable. This is being an overpowered Mary Sue.
Yeah. It's like what they say, a brave man overcoming a difficulty. That's not impressive, but a scared person facing their fears, that's impressive. Because they have to struggle to overcome a weakness, a vulnerability.
Or that, bravery is doing things even when you're scared.
Exactly. That's the phrase. That's much better phrasing of it than I thought of initially. Yeah. But yeah, its point remains.
He's painting in broad brushes.
Okay, we're almost getting to the end here. We'll be done before long.
A writer would kind of know this now. I mean, you're the one who's brought to the table questioning people's
a writer would
writing
know that.
talent and credibility by their media criticism. All right? So if that's the standard you want to play, you don't seem to understand some important nuances in the writing craft.
Yeah. It's almost like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He's gonna tell us about writing now. God, guys, buckle up.
Well, buckle up, guys. He's coming back.
It sounds like Shad wants a very boring first story for Superman. He just does everything perfectly and never has any trouble.
It's not what I said at all. Another Strawmen.
I know low he is, though.
Yeah, he's not saying much else, though.
Through the snow, yeah. Anthony, you said the rest of the film was just scenes of Superman being awesome, right?
Yes.
And
How is that not awesome?
This is awesome.
How is that not awesome? How is that not the most awesome thing you've
triumphant.
seen?
You're saying the trailer ends with him being triumphant. Now, if you're being ultra specific that it's the very last kind of scene that they show, it's like this is the ending scene
That isn't
of
the
the
last
trailer.
scene.
The end.
That is not the last scene.
Plus, I also mentioned that the
last-
music crescendos as we see more and more images of triumph.
How is Superman getting rescued by his adorable pupper not awesome?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I guess...
I love how he emphasizes it, him being dragged through the snow. The snow wouldn't hurt Superman. This is why he has the Fortress of fucking Solitude in Antarctica, you fucking idiot.
It's just too dumb. It's
He
just
doesn't
too
feel the
dumb.
cold. It's not gonna hurt him.
Oh my goodness.
The trailer does not wrap itself up with only scenes of triumph. No, they show him being battered and broken and defeated. Confirming my point that I was saying. Contradicting your assessment of how it ended as well. It's not inspiring. It is not.
It's inspiring, dude.
No, it's not.
It's very
Krypto
inspiring.
trotting through the snow with a happy...
With the Superman, it's like that is not a dignified scene for Superman. Now, I think he's loving it
says
because
he has
it's
to be
Krypto helping
dignified?
Superman. It's good for
Yeah,
Krypto.
isn't it that
I think
dignified?
it's doesn't
I said
mention it.
awesome.
Now, for the trailer, this is the whole context of my criticism. It might work for the movie if they're able to pull it off. I don't think focusing it so much, and they focus on
I think they pulled it off. Look at this.
This
Great. What are you talking about, Chad?
Look at that
did
good
not set the
boy.
tone
Look
for
at
me
that
for the
good
beginning of the
boy.
Superman franchise, and I disliked it. I hope the film
I'd
was
be
good.
so
though.
proud of
They
my
pulled it off. They make the
dog
scene
if
make
she could drag me
sense.
across the
Maybe they
lawn
will.
like
and it's
that.
specifically
Seriously.
great. Krypto's saving him. Don't like what they're showing so far. No, is Clark Kent at this point? I don't know.
I would hope so.
It looked like he was kissed
Lois Lane should figure out who Superman is in every version. I think that's like the best part. Where Lois...
eventually, but not right away. This is the first film, and it seems like the first film she knows who Superman is, and it's like part of
Why
the appeal
can't she know
is-
by the end of the film?
Yeah,
Then
I mean-
you're like, why are they gonna drag it up multiple? They don't even know how many films they might get.
Yeah.
Why not have her find out? This is probably the end of the goddamn movie right here.
Yeah.
Bet you anything.
Plus, in the end of the first Superman movie, Lois Lane starts to figure out Clark Kent is Superman. It isn't confirmed till part 2, but you can see through the physical acting that Lois Lane is piecing together that Clark Kent and Lois Lane.
Also, she's a fucking reporter. Of course, she's gonna figure it out.
Exactly.
the progression of their relationship as Clark and Lois, and the dichotomy with Lois being so attracted to Superman and thinking Clark is this kind of loser, not realizing it's the same guy. That's one of the most enjoyable aspects of their relationship and how it progresses. If they're skipping that, I feel like I'm missing
Why
something
is that
fun.
enjoyable
And,
to you?
Anthony, weren't you just saying that you should be including so many of the important, tangential or other world parts of Superman?
Having the greater world of Superman's universe makes him interesting. It's
Yeah.
a positive, not a negative.
They're skipping a pretty big thing here.
Pretends to shoot Clark Kent.
So Anthony is not addressing the regret I'm sharing here. I'm not saying.
Why does he assume that their relationship won't be built up to in the fucking movie? It's probably gonna be 2 or 3 hours, bro.
Also,
That's a lot.
Also, I love
That's a
how he's
lot.
cutting out the example I used of Lois Lane shooting Clark Kent in the Donner cut of Superman 2.
Kind of
So,
looked like he was kissing.
Lois Lane should figure out who Superman is in every version. I think that's like the best part, where Lois Lane figures out. She's not told it, she just figures it out for herself. I love how in My Adventures with Superman, you got the scene where Lois Lane throws herself off the building to draw Superman to save her. To show, hey, I know you're Superman, and I'm so confident in my decision, I'm going to put myself in danger just to make sure I know this is great. So you tell me the truth. I love the scene in Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut specifically, where Lois Lane pretends to shoot Clark Kent, and Clark Kent catches the bullet, so to speak. And it's like, if you fired a real gun on a normal person, you would have killed Clark Kent. And Lois is like, nah, it was a blank. You couldn't even tell the difference because they don't feel like anything to you.
Boy, and he was just shocked that she even fucking pulled that shit.
Yep.
But you know what it is? He's just like, she needs to be a good little obedient woman and not question a man, and he has a cool man pain secret she doesn't know about. That's what he really wants.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Like, Lois Lane only had trouble figuring who Clark Kent was in the pre-crisis era. Post-crisis, it's usually pretty quick that she figures out who Superman is.
Well, yeah, because like nobody wants that shit dragged out. Everybody fucking knows by now. It's basically mythology.
It's
The people call superhero comics are modern myths for a reason. Everybody, even if you've never read a single comic in your goddamn life, you know Superman's backstory. You know Batman's backstory. You know even Spider-Man's backstory, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They're like Hercules.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
it's not fun when Lois discovers who Superman is. That is a fun part of it. Because this whole thing that Anthony's talking about now is, oh, Lois and discover. No, I'm saying it's also fun when she doesn't know who he is, and that's part of the Superman kind of Lois and Clark relationship and how it progresses.
You're allowed that interpretation. I won't argue with you on that one. I personally don't agree, but hey, you're allowed your opinion. I disagree with it, but that's subjective at that point.
And it seems like this new movie is skipping that, and I feel it's missing something important and fun, a part of their relationship. But Anthony's not addressing that, is he? No, he's going to jump completely to something else and then talk for a couple of minutes, something completely unrelated. Okay.
I was talking about scenes where Lois Lane
you.
figures. I was talking about scenes where Lois Lane figures out who Superman is. Actually, if you cut around it so often, you would know that. You know, if you didn't cut around all of it. But hey, what do I know?
To what I'm actually addressing specifically. The part of the fun of Superman is the whole, secret identity and slowly earning the reveal to Lois. Oh, look, I explained exactly what I just did already in the trailer. Let's see what Anthony says, okay?
No, the fun is Lois Lane figuring it out.
Oh, so hang on. Anthony, I'm just honestly saying, as a supposed fan of Superman, right, that part of the fun element of Superman and Lois's relationship is the times when she doesn't know who that Clark Kent is Superman. He's like, no, that's not fun at all. It's only fun when... I literally say, part of the fun, and we're going to be missing this, is that part where she doesn't know he is. And Eddie literally has said, no, that is not the fun part.
Figuring it out would include her not knowing for a while.
Yeah, I don't know how you jumped the gun there, dude. Like, if you figure it out something, that means you didn't know it at the start of the figuring out part. Figuring out is gradual. It's not immediate. It takes a little bit of time. That's the fun. The tension of the secret identity, her not knowing, but then slowly piecing together.
Or even the potential comedy of the secret identity.
100%.
Which some of the movies lean into.
Exactly. And because she's trying to figure it out, like who Superman is, he has to keep it a secret, which leads to so much comic.
Yeah, she has to like act like she's not onto him. She's not entirely sure. She doesn't want to like just go, "You're Superman," and him go like, "Oh, like that's crazy, Lois." You joker.
Yep. And the fact that he has to cut around all my answers kind of proves that even he doesn't buy this bullshit.
So if he's a really bad liar, and she goes, "You're Superman," he's just like.
That's happened in My Adventures of Superman.
How did you know?
She only throws herself off the building because he won't admit it. Because it's so clearly the case.
So great.
And then what's funny
who says that's not a traditional Lois Lane just because she doesn't look like one?
And what's so funny is
that is something Lois Lane would absolutely do in any adaptation.
And what's so funny is that even Jimmy figures out that Superman is Superman. Because
even Jimmy knew.
The fun part, no caveat, no greater context, is when she learns who he is. It's like,
figuring it out. That's different than learning who he is. Figuring it out means it's a process. You know, as a writer, I assume you'd know what words mean, but I guess I thought too highly of you.
An odd statement from someone who claims to be a Superman fan. So you're saying that's not fun at all now? Like, I mean, you're not caveating. Are you saying, no, I'm wrong? Am I saying that it's only the fun thing?
Dude, do you not know what words fucking mean?
I don't think he does.
I'm impressed. I'm somehow I expected more of him.
Because you don't give any other context. It's like, what I said was wrong. The fun thing with no...
I don't give any other context, huh? No other context, right? There. It's clearly a problem that's being at least... Let's take a look at that. I love how in My Adventures with Superman, you got the scene where Lois Lane throws herself off the building to draw Superman to save her. Just to show, hey, I know you're Superman, and I'm so confident in my decision, I'm going to put myself in danger just to make sure I know this is great. So you tell me the truth. I love the scene in Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut specifically, where Lois Lane pretends to shoot Clark Kent, and Clark Kent catches the bullet, so to speak. And it's like, if you fired a real gun on a normal person, you would have killed Clark Kent. And Lois is like, nah, it was a blank. You couldn't even tell the difference because they don't feel like anything to you. It's great stuff. And it's just indicative of the crazy, mentality of Lois that's so unhinged. I love it. It's fantastic.
She don't take no shit from nobody, that's why.
100%. But I gave no context. Don't forget. I don't have any context before I think of anything. No, of course not. It's easy to say that when you cut out all the fucking evidence, isn't that right?
Like, does he think people couldn't go watch your video? And
well, I mean, more people watch my video than his, so.
And here he is, doing essentially the same thing that he was just criticizing me for.
Do I? Don't
One of the
think
few
that's
consistent
the case.
things about woke activists like Anthony is their inconsistency, as I've.
And again,
lived my
you're a woke
experience. As many
activist now.
aspects to the Superman story.
By
you
the
have to-
end of this, he couldn't contain it. He
Nope.
couldn't contain it.
But you know, it's funny. It's easy to sound inconsistent when you cut out half the words a person says.
An arc that I, as a fan, would want to see. And I'm a little annoyed that it's potentially just skipping over it. And look,
Are you upset that Lois Lane will figure out who Clark Kent is?
did I say that, you friggin' disingenuous moron? Did I say that? Listen to what I said.
Yes, you did.
We did listen to what you say repeatedly. You're a fucking dipshit.
Yeah, you did say that just now here.
Yeah.
And it seems like I was right assuming that. Also, I don't think I ever
get so
said.
mad.
Also, Shad, I don't think I ever said you did say something. I asked a question. You answered the question just fine through all your words that you've said since. That was the answer I needed to hear. So thank you for answering my question with the affirmative.
Right? And so he's just ignored what I said and just making a complete straw man trying to say something completely different again. Potentially just skipping over it. And so I'm sad that they're potentially going to skip over the part of the relationship where Lois doesn't know who Clark Kent is.
Are you upset that Lois Lane will figure out who Clark Kent is?
And then he's like, that means Shad clearly said he's going to be upset that Lois Lane figures it out. You freaking idiot.
Did I say that? But you seem to actually answer my question just fine with your previous answer.
Yeah.
All I said was, does that mean it? It's a question. You know how questions work, right, Shad? I know you're a writer, so you know how words and punctuation marks work in a sentence.
It's comical at this point. It's amazing.
So yeah, that's Shad's reaction to the trailer, but it's not the whole story yet. You see, at the end of the video, Shad mentioned an article, a quote from James Gunn, which I immediately thought was out of context.
Because then we have comments like this.
Oh, using Fandom Pulse, using John De La Rue's website, I believe, right? That's John De La Rue's website?
From James Gunn, and this is posted by Fandom Pulse. Says, James Gunn says, battered Superman is a metaphor for the United States of America. Says the film shares many elements with Game of Thrones, and is not a fascistic power. It's not a fascistic power fantasy. What the hell?
How about you read the article and find out what the actual quote is, Shad? Are you going to?
That mean?
Read the quote. That's the thing with these guys. They always stop with the headline.
Is he indicating that, like, previous Superman is a
Are you going to read the actual quote?
Power fantasy? Holy crap! Yeah, in retrospect, I should have looked into this a bit more. And so I think there might be some actual valid criticism here. Let's see.
That's the thing with these guys. They always stop with the headline.
Well, you haven't really dug deep or done more than a surface level false interpretation of what I've been saying. So, dude, stones from glass houses. But I agree. In this instance, I would like to dig into that a bit more. On the surface, it does not sound good at all. And the other reason why I use this, because I have seen more people criticize Superman for, it's a fascistic power fantasy. People on the left get so triggered by tiny little things, and they claim so many works of media are completely fascist. And so this is not a disingenuous or unreasonable thing to hear people say about media from the left. They accuse Freerin and anime of being fascist because it depicts demons as being irredeemably evil.
Let's play the clip.
And so I should, and I think I will look into this more to see the proper context of what they've been saying about that.
We felt like we were all doing something good, both in terms of quality and in terms of it's not a fascistic power fantasy.
Okay, wait, don't skip.
Wait, you skipped almost all the quote. Hang on, you gotta play the rest of it.
Hang on. Here he is saying, leftists get triggered by little things. We saw him red in the face, hair disheveled, mad over Krypto the Superdog.
Seriously. Wait, here's the quote, by the way. He skipped all of it. Hang on, here's the quote. That's not, what are you talking about, dude? Okay, what's the actual quote? Let's see the whole thing. Let's find out. All right, here's the line from The Independent. So here's the article right here. Let's get it up. Let's fact check Shad here, right? Superman director says, not now, says that battered hero in new film represents the U.S. I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological beliefs, their politics, are doing their best to get by and be good people. So that's what he's upset about. Let's read the whole quote here. Speaking at a press conference for the launch of the trailer, Gunn explained, "We do have a battered Superman in the beginning. That is our country." Expanding on the idea, the 58-year-old added, "I believe in the goodness of human beings. And I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological differences, beliefs, their politics, are doing their best to get by and be good people. Despite what it may seem like to the other side, no matter what the other side might be, this movie is about that. It's about the basic kindness of human beings, and that it can be seen as uncool and under siege by some of the darker voices. It can be seen as uncool and under siege by some of the darker voices, or some of the louder voices. I think that's a weird little addition right there. I'm excited for people to get to see the essence of what we've been doing, because it really has been like this private secret we've all been hoarding. We felt really, okay, here's the fascistic part. We felt really good about it from a moral place, even from the beginning. We felt like we were all doing something good, both in terms of quality and in terms of it's not a fascistic power fantasy. I'm not saying that about other hero movies in general, but it felt good to be doing something that was about a person's kindness. Yeah, it's just about Superman being optimistic in the face of bad belief. It's saying that Superman unites people, that Superman is all of us collectively. You would know that, Shad, if you read past the headline.
Oh, so that's definitely what's so funny about Truth, Justice,
the darker voices.
The American Heart.
100%. It's a weird.
So I can see what you're saying. It's not exactly the plot of that comic, but it's taking the spirit of that comic.
The division, exactly. That sense of divide. We all want to do the right thing, but
but Superman is all about how the power of humanity is the real power.
Exactly. But it's funny because Shad completely skipped that to the last part right here. I'm excited for people to get... Actually, skip past this part, too. We've been doing, because it really has been like this private secret we've all been hoarding. We felt really... Okay, here's the fascistic part. We felt really good about it from a moral place, even from the beginning. We felt like we were all doing something good, both in terms of quality and in terms of it's not a fascistic power fantasy. I'm not saying that about
they
other
did quote mine the fuck
general,
out of that.
But it felt good to be doing something that was about a person's kindness. Yeah, it's just about Superman being optimistic in the face of bad belief. It's saying... Yeah,
which is Superman's core. Which
exactly.
is the core of Superman's character.
And when Shad read the article, in practice, all he read was this.
I will look into this more to see the proper context of what James Gunn is saying about
proper
that.
Context. We're all doing something good, both in terms of quality and in terms of it's not a fascistic power fantasy.
Okay, wait. Don't skip over that, because Anthony's like, let's read the full quote. Nothing in what is shared so far undermines...
He skipped all of the quote.
They're assuring people that that's not what the movie is, even though it's about America and the American spirit, which is also what Superman embodies, which recent adaptations have moved away from.
Exactly. But what's so funny is
it's just so back to basics.
Exactly. But he demonstrably skipped almost all the quote to jump on the fascist part.
My concerns from that headline, and then we get to the one where I had the most concern about. And so James Gunn says, we felt really good about it, like from a moral place, even from the beginning. We all felt like we were doing something good, both in terms of quality and in terms of actually something that's not a fascistic power fantasy. Holy crap, in context, that is him saying that previous Superman films were a fascistic power fantasy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, okay, let's see if he says right here. Other hero movies in general, but it felt good to be doing something that was about a person's...
I'm not saying about other superhero films in general. I don't believe him. And I wonder if Anthony's going to try and use that. That makes the fascistic power... He's clearly referring to other superhero movies. Otherwise, there's literally no point for that comment to exist. So clearly he believes other films have fascistic...
Yes, there is, Shad. Because he's saying that Superman represents America at the very beginning, and he's assuring people it's not going to be some kind of fascistic power fantasy about America, fuck yeah, world police,
Plus he skipped all the context about it representing the divisions in America and how
at no point is he saying other Superman adaptations are fascistic. At no point is he saying that.
Not
even
remotely.
That is just assuming that's what he thinks. Because, he's just... Chad is just too politically brain-rotted, because he's just like, the leftists all say this, they're a hive mind.
Yeah, meanwhile he's saying, like, all these leftists.
America left and right, worry about your own dingo-ass country.
Feels like James Gunn has that negative view of the other Superman films.
You would know that, Shad, if you read past the headline.
Seems like that's not a fascistic power fantasy, that's in context, and it's accurate. So now he's just kind of reading more into it, putting it...
So again... He doesn't...
Reading more into it, you mean reading it.
Yeah, you mean reading less of it, actually, Shad.
You mean just reading what it says on the page right there.
Yeah, seriously. Nothing here indicates that anything negatively about any of the previous Superman movies.
James Gunn is a huge superhero fan. Why wouldn't he like the other movies?
Yeah. Also,
Are you dumb?
James Gunn's centrist politically. He was more right-wing when he was younger, and he's moved further left over time, but he's not
People
a left
change over their lifetimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
But he's not like a left-leaning person. He just doesn't like
I
Trump.
don't know, you say
That's
it's
about it.
Hollywood. They're all leftists. They're all fascistic leftists. They're
Yeah.
all woke.
But he's like more politically centrist than like really one or the other. He just leans left because he
It's
doesn't like
also
the Trump
it's also
administration.
possible to just not give a shit about politics. It's you are allowed to, I assure you.
That's true, but James Gunn does get involved politically to an extent, but he's very publicly shifted over the last 2-3 decades.
Good for him.
Point is, though, exactly, he learns new information, he changes perspectives. So let's just finish
That's
this
what
up.
a sensible fucking person should do.
Exactly. All right, we're over 6 hours. So let's wrap this up.
Oh God, are
His
we?
own spin
Yeah.
on it.
Time
And
flies.
again, the main problem I have is the fascistic power fantasy comment. That's the issue I have. Because to me, that's a statement of someone who doesn't like Superman if they're going to have that interpretation on previous Superman films. And it really sounded like that's his view of Superman.
He never fucking said that about previous superhero films. Are you incapable of reading as well as writing?
I get.
From the
No,
full
he's saying
context
no. He did read it. He just says, "Oh, I don't believe him." He's definitely talking about other Superman adaptations. He just straight up says, "I don't believe him" when he said like his movie isn't going to be that he wasn't talking about other movies. So he just basically went, "Oh, I read what he said. I just think he's a lawyer."
Oh my God. Now, as for Game of Thrones, that whole Game of Thrones quote, I didn't mention that, of course, because I couldn't find the original source. But thankfully, in the comments of the stream, someone did. And James Gunn compared Superman to Game of Thrones because both are fantasy stories that are grounded. And that's it. That's the whole thing. That's the context. Grounded fantasy. So again, Shad was off a little bit. This material is from a non-comic book fan.
See, again, like, he's a non-comic book fan, suddenly, right? It's like, I never said I wasn't a fan of the comic books, but he can't help it.
You did.
Actually never really got to read heaps of the comics. It was always the cartoons and the live-action TV shows, especially the movies, that I was just completely hooked on.
You said you never read the comic books. That means you're not a
Yeah,
fan
he
of
said
the
he never
comic
read 'em.
books.
He's a habitual liar at this point. Like, it's ridiculous.
You're a woke activist and a habitual liar
I
now.
love it. But I don't want to insult you. It's
just
fine.
making crap up.
Like, no,
How does anyone take this seriously? How does
by listening and understanding what I'm saying, something that you seemingly are pathologically against doing.
anyone take this guy seriously?
Yeah, a good amount of people do.
When he was just talking about swords, we didn't know enough about weapons to actually call him out in his inaccuracies and lack of knowledge.
Give some examples, mate. Go on. If you really want to go into an area that I have a lot
Oh my
of
God,
background
he's
in, and
so
yes, this is my
butthurt.
area of
I'm
expertise,
so butthurt.
talk about weapons and stuff today, and I've debated people who are a lot more informed than you on, where your attempt to try and call me out on inaccuracy about medieval
Always
weapons
won every
history.
debate he's ever had.
But he wants to, again, Strawman is like, he doesn't know what to talk about weapons.
In fairness, though, he has debated people who know a lot more than me and lost. So I don't need to debate him.
Examples, exact examples, and he can't bring any because I would call him out on them, obviously. And
No, the problem
I'll
is I
debate you on Princess Peach's history, Shad.
the reason why I can't give you examples is because you'll edit them the fuck out.
Also, that isn't what the fucking video was about
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. And my point ultimately is we didn't know enough to talk about it.
But
we know
saying
enough
he
about
doesn't
this.
know something pisses him off that much.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that question, nor am I going to bother trying, because I don't debate topics which I don't understand fully.
Yeah, wow.
But I understand this. Yeah, because I'm not arrogant enough to pretend I'm the right person to debate on a topic
I
I'm not
understand
informed
comics
about.
history and storytelling and visual storytelling, so that's more than you, Shad.
Yeah, but this is an area we know decently well, and you demonstrated some inaccuracies, we'll say. And we demonstrated how those inaccuracies might reflect on a poor comprehension of the character's history.
And we also lost our shit laughing because holy shit,
It was
bro,
very
you're
funny.
So mad.
It was very
You're
funny.
so mad.
So
when it comes to weapons,
delete
history
this
and stuff,
video.
there are some
Seriously.
really strong objective kind of references that you can bring to the table, like medieval art and stuff. I've had arguments people in the past and they've lost dramatically about, did medieval people shoot on the outside of the
They've
bow?
lost
Okay?
dramatically.
There
I'm
are
sure.
articles
I'm sure they
online
have.
that were trying to say that medieval
Right,
archery was a certain way, and I came with direct evidence from history and proved them wrong. All right, and it was interesting. That actually shifted
all right,
a
okay,
large
okay,
perception
all right.
of,
I won, all right.
a portion of our understanding of medieval history. Those videos that I made, but he wants to try and undermine that, side of my credibility as well. And he's got nothing with that apart from just saying Shad's wrong.
I think
Yeah,
said
you
that.
are, bro. You
Now we do
are
know what he's
wrong.
talking about. He's talking about a field he knows much less about.
thing is that I've brought receipts and responded to all your criticisms here. You've just been full of crap, Anthony.
You've actually cut out my
Bro,
receipts, my dude.
Yeah, by cutting out half your argument.
Shad, you made a mistake.
Oh, no.
You actually tried to pick a fight with someone who enjoys fighting.
Oh god. See, like I said, everybody thinks I'm the crazy one, but it's really Ant.
Yes, it's always been me. I've always been
Ant.
I've always been the more ruthless of.
Ant and I literally met because he walked up to me and says, "Hey, if you need to sue Lily Orchard, you can joint file with me." And I was like, "You'd really seriously get a lawyer and go scorched earth?" And he was like, "Yes."
After 7 hours, I passed out. I couldn't sit still for another moment watching Shad continue, and I just fell asleep with a post-Shad hangover for the next day. I was surprised to see, however, that within one day, the stream had actually eclipsed Shad's original video in terms of viewership. And then Shad's video was out for like 4 or 5 days at that point. My stream was out for 12 hours. More views. So that tells me that Shad's audience didn't really seem to engage too much with Shad's initial response. But I did. Shad lies. If you criticize Shad, he will lie about you and paint you as the devil. I do not feel good about that. I don't feel good about a guy going around with a much larger channel in theory, attacking critics that he sees as small potatoes who can bully into submission. Shad across his multiple channels has over 1 million subscribers, and very few of them show up, as Shad likes to remind us constantly, his channel is on its last legs. If you're successful and you watch the whole thing to the end and you react to this video with your reaction to my reaction to your reaction to my reaction to your reaction to the Superman trailer, you may yourself find it an opportunity to use a different word than the R-word slur. Hey, maybe you might open up that thesaurus, because as a writer, I'm sure you can select a good word to actually express your frustration with how you keep embarrassing yourself on the internet. But hey, what do I know?